Warm greetings from the high 10. It is Everyday Shenanigans, and thanks for joining me. Happy New Year to all of you. Most of you who are following the buffoonery out of Rogersville, Tennessee, probably have heard of a Mr. Dudley, a Jean or Asian, assuming this is French, who worked with Mr. Donald Wells briefly, has given commentary to a creator, and I'm going to play that said content. If you need verification for the information that you're hearing, you can go over to Sweetie Pie Lowe's channel and the YouTube queue for verification. Thank you for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. If you want to donate to the channel, $BigAngie 129 Cash App. All super chats are welcome during the live. Thank you for joining me. God bless all of you. Stay safe.
That you know, like about summer, you're saying?
That I know of facts. And his story was elaborate and his story is wide. He didn't have it. He's right with Tom's. He accused me of writing things on the wall that a meth head would do, and then turned around and admitted that he wrote this shit on the wall of what a meth head does.
Oh, yeah, I heard that. Now that I think about it.
If you go back to June, he said I wrote all that shit. I destroyed the house, and I did not.
Yeah.
He cleaned the house up, and he fired me.
Yeah.
So from then on, he destroyed the house, made it look bad, and then wrote all that shit on the walls and made it that I did it.
Oh,
so he already lied to himself, and he didn't spoke that truth out. He didn't write himself out. He just spoke the truth.
Well, it's so unfair too. Did you keep in touch with them any after Summer went missing, or did he just badmouth you?
Yeah. When I got my check with my money from him, he come paid me. He shorted me money, of course. We were supposed to make like close to $1,800 that week, and I think I got $300.
What?
So, yeah. And in return, I'm asking him. My neighbor was outside videoing it, but I didn't trust it. So I'm asking him how's Summer, and he looked at me like I should have never asked that question. Like I was the devil. You know what I mean? When really he's the devil.
Yeah.
They know what happened. And I can't say what happened, but they're trying to throw me in the mix. I wasn't dead 2 weeks prior to this kid coming up missing.
So you hadn't really known him long enough. Is that what you tell me?
I knew him back in the day when we subbed against each other.
Yeah.
But I knew he was a big cokehead and a big crackhead. Mess with him.
Yes.
But he stole a bunch of stuff from Tucker, the guy that we worked for, and he works for now, and pawned all this shit, and they ended up having to make it pay it back if he wanted to come to work. Me personally, I don't know why he's still working out, how he still have him working out.
Right.
I agree.
Good shit to keep him in that, because I lost my job with him. That was the best job I had out here. So, begged them for a couple of weeks before Don fired me to please let me go somewhere. I even asked him 3 or 4 times, hey, this guy's really giving me a hard time. Is it okay if I whip his ass?
Yeah.
I'm tired of hearing his shit. He's bipolar, schizophrenic. The first 2 days I was there, he told me I had to work. He had to work there until 9 o'clock because child care services come in his house and he couldn't be there. That made a big red flag come up to me. He had a microwave oven in the house. A little cooler. He was set up to stay there all night.
Oh my God.
This is wild. What was it due into? And that was the second day I was there. It freaked me out.
Okay, so we'll stop right there for a minute. So what he's saying in this clip is that the second day he was working, so the second day into his time working with Don, he had come to the job site, and that there was, that Don was set up there with all the, I guess, should we call them luxuries, right? Their means to cook your food at this job site so that he could stay into the night because Don knew that Child Services was coming to his home there in Rogersville. So he was purposely staying away from the home, according to Dudley. So let's carry on. So he knew that Child Services was coming to his home, and he had his stuff set up.
First week I worked with him, I don't know if something ain't right. But when God made me look horrible, he told him I was stealing mud when he told me to put the mud in my storage unit. And when I went to his house, he had pallets of mud there that had been sitting out for 2 years in the winter, and it was no good. So when he said yesterday about me complaining about mud, people putting stuff in my mud, no, it was him trying to use bad material that he stole from Tucker and was trying to put it in with the new mud, and it was creating mold in the houses. And I just didn't like it,
Let me stop here. A few minutes in. This is Dudley Ajan speaking to Sweetie Pie Low. She has a YouTube channel, and he is giving his version of what transpired between he and Donna Wells. He was a ex-co-worker of Don. This is the same man that Don has implicated into the alleged abduction of Summer Wells. This man has now decided to finally come forward to speak, and this is his version to Sweetie Pie Low. If you need verification, you can log over to her channel in the YouTube queue to watch the entire video. It'll be basically her playing audio from her phone of Mr. Ajan. And you will also hear his wife, Linda, speaking in this commentary, and she calls him Ray. So if you get confused, Dudley is Ray and Ray is Dudley. Thank you all so much for joining me. First of all, why is he speaking now? As we both know, there's 3 sides to a story. There will be a refute, of course, by Don and others, because this is what people do. He is claiming he is owed up to $1,500 or $1,800. He did not get the $300 of the said money. You know there will be a fallout from this, and there will be a response from Donna Wells, because it is to be expected. There's no sound because I'm talking right now. Lord have mercy. Anyway, but you should know that anytime a person speaks of something that someone allegedly did or did not do, there will always be somebody who's going to come forward with said information. Thank you for joining me. And I'm sure Donald is hot butter at this point, especially if these allegations are true of what he is saying in the said commentary.
It was not the way Tucker done. And Tucker Drywall, we were supposed to do 4 coats, and he was telling me to lie and say we only did 4 coats when we were only doing 2 coats. So when I went to Tucker, Tucker told me he was doing 1 house a month if he was lucky.
Yeah.
Well, when I went, he was doing averaging 2 to 4 houses a week.
Yeah.
Big time money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
It wasn't because of him. I was putting 4 buckets of mud onto his 1 bucket. So what does that tell you?
Right.
I think you might have been farming and like my work looked better in the first coat than his. So he got his payment.
I'm sure he did.
Started cutting up road. He ruined my damn job. And I didn't have work for 3 months. I was devastated. I felt like a piece of shit.
Oh.
But there wasn't nothing I could do. I went to Tucker for 3 different times. And he totally pushed me off because they believed Don. Don's a damn compulsive liar. He's bipolar, schizophrenic.
Yeah.
This dude would tell me to do something and then chew me out for doing what he told me to do.
Yeah.
And then he was so hired for the company, not giving 4 coats. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And only doing 2. He'd yell at me for doing touch-ups, for trying to make things look better, and he was telling them that I wasn't listening, but if they had known that years at. All I moved up there, and I got a better job every time I left there. So I just couldn't, allow to get people that didn't know Don that was bashing me, trying to get me fired everywhere I went. But now I got somebody I worked for knew me 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And he's the only one that they're just still the same guy. So these guys just can't handle that fast city life. And when you own your own business for 18 years, you don't work by the hour, you work by the job. So that's what I do. I go to work. One of these guys need to make them work.
Right.
I don't need to work, but they all want to call me a meth head and a junkie, and he's the one that's got junkie marks and needle marks on him and look like meth heads. We started on a job at 11 years old. I said, God, that's crazy.
Are you serious? Okay, in case you didn't hear that, right here, Dudley says that Don would smoke weed with his son, his 11-year-old son, on the job. So if that's any indication, the lack of concern he has for his kid's livelihood. Can't think of what's worse. Well, I guess there's a few things worse than that, but that's pretty bad. That's pretty low. Carry on.
I don't know you like that guy. I don't mess around.
Oh my gosh.
We smoked weed together.
Oh wow.
But he failed to mention that we smoked weed together.
Yeah.
He smoked kids. I have nothing to lie about, but I didn't do no bad. That's not what he says I am, and I'll take a drug test.
Right.
But I don't.
So right there, he doubles down on, I'm not what they say I am. I'll take a drug test. So here's Don saying constantly, this is a meth head. He's on this and this and this. And Dudley saying, you got me all wrong. I'll take a drug test right now. It's not what I do. So, interesting.
I've been cleared from UBI, TBI, and all that. He's the one that understands the name. I still want no problems with my family, my wife, my son out here. If they have problems, I will go to jail.
I know.
And that's going to be this asshole wants to send people out here when he's really the one that knows what happened to his daughter.
Yeah.
His wife is clean. She scared the shit out of me the first time I seen her.
What?
She ran out of his bandage.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, I hate fucking kids.
She said that?
I swear, if I'm lying, God strike me down. I couldn't believe it. I had to get away from her. She is definitely a handful. Made her probably because she is a mess. Richard Tucker.
Yeah.
Richard loved me. Jesse didn't care for me.
Yeah.
But Jesse was a spoiled rotten kid that had a business handed over to him, and he wanted to bring a bunch of Mexicans in and get cheaper labor. His dad wanted quality work, so
right.
Got to the quality side, and the rest of them stayed on how to. When Jesse took over, they started cutting corners, cutting prices, so everybody was trying to cut corners on labor, but we'll get them. It was when the dad was running the business.
Do you think it's possible that did Don ever talk about sex trafficking? A lot of people think that could have been what happened.
You shit to me, before this shit happened,
yeah.
He was telling me about these bad dreams he was having and going to prison for a long time. And I was like, well, why are you having them dreams? Then he tells me, well, I went in the house and I beat the shit out of my kids and they went wrestling. And I was like, golly, Don, why would you do that?
Let me pause right here. I've got to acknowledge somebody in the chat. Hold on, let me go back up. Let's see. Tiny Dancer. Candace changed her name to her maiden name when everything hit the news, which I was suspicious about that. Don couldn't be there when any agency associated with the government visited. She was receiving SSI. Don's salary would mess with the check. This is something I've also pondered about their finances and the fact that Some of you were saying she didn't receive benefits from the state, such as monies and or food stamps. Let's be truthful. These two are hustlers. They've been in the game a long time. Why would she not receive food stamps? Come on now, stay woke. Let me also explain to you state law here in Tennessee. You can be a convicted felon and receive food stamps. You also can put your husband on your personal information, whether he works or not works, and then they will verify the said information if you give the husband as a living participant in your said household, and then the state will calculate his or her earnings and then compute that in with anything that you're receiving from the state, for those who are not familiar with Tennessee law. Okay? But due to the fact that Don doesn't check into a regular job where you punch in a clock, come on with it, Queen, because they don't really know the law here. She can easily tell the state that Don doesn't work. So that means his income will not be verified. Are you listening? Let me repeat. She could have easily told the state she has a husband living with her and or baby daddy, but that he does not work. So therefore, she will be receiving aid, medical, for herself, her children, and also Donald Wells. Are you listening? Because you remember she said in an interview, she took her child Summer to get her shots because she was starting school. So that means she had to pay for a visit and she had to pay for the shots. Who do you think paid for that? You think these same people who get high and drunk paid for a visit to the doctor? Paid for shots? Stay woke. Hell no, they did not. And I did question why all of a sudden she started going by blah, because it's what I've told you all in the beginning pertaining to this story. Something is off with the story. Something is I can't get this out for some reason. Suspicious with the story, no matter what you believe, who did what, who passed the baton, who held the door, who held the wheel. There's something off with these two. Their behavior is suspect and vile and outrageous for two people who allegedly have a child that's been abducted. You're entitled to believe what you want to believe. But I want to thank Tiny for that information. If it is indeed true that she draws SSI, she's also put her own funds in jeopardy with the state of Tennessee for receiving benefits for SSI. Because they can cut your check for certain felonious behavior, such as any type of fraud. If you're receiving any type of aid from the state, such as food stamps, medical, you're buying things that you're not supposed to, trading your stamps, you all know the game. Pills. If you're taking your pills that you get for a prescription, selling them, you'll be put in a database here. That's the set information. I just want to acknowledge that before we go on. Thank you all for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. Thank you all so much. Oh, Lordy have mercy. Okay, you guys, I'm going to rejoin. So what do you all think so far of the information that he's been relaying? Do you believe that Mr. Dudley is telling the truth about his dealings with Mr. Donald Wells? Do you feel that Donald Wells is jealous of this man? I will jump in between because it'll help with my live to go a little bit quicker if instead of me just playing the entire video. I want to just play the entire video, then go in to discuss what was said. But this is an hour-long conversation with Sweetie Pie and Mr. Dudley Ray. Thank you all so much for joining me. This is an ex-co-worker of Donald Wells, the man he is implicated in the alleged abduction of Summer Wells. Thank you all so much for joining me.
Yeah. I said, you gotta talk to him. You gotta put him in a schedule, a routine.
Yeah.
They would scream, cuss him out, and like horrible parents. Straight up, him and his wife is piece of shit parents.
Yes.
And that place is a shithole. I took my wife there twice. She said they'll never take me back there. His wife was that's like she's ready to kill you. We're down because Don would drive 90 miles an hour everywhere we went. My vehicle was running bad.
Yeah.
Okay, I needed rejoin the damn drive shaft.
Yeah.
Well, I'd be damned. For 2 weeks, I mean, he was sending me on goose chases. He was driving so crazy. You got 100 yards from a stop he's going to speed up for running so late just to get to the stop sign.
Wow.
Who does that?
What was the purpose? What do you think the purpose of that was?
I don't know. To lose me, I guess.
Okay.
I thought he was supposed to lose me. You know, because he didn't want me to find the job.
Okay.
He had some really funky games with him. You know, he made me go to a job on a Sunday, okay, on a damn Sunday.
Yeah.
You don't work on Sundays.
Right.
This guy wants me to work on Sundays because of his religion he was in, okay?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
and made me go all the way to damn Churchill and Hard Lane. Well, not Hard Lane. What they call that place? Huh? Yeah, Snore Run. Yeah, and I mean, look, woman, this took me forever to find this place when I got out there.
I thought it was funny how he called me woman. Look, woman.
And damn, did the
That's a Southern thing, homegirl. That's a Southern thing.
So then we were supposed to go to another job in Chucky after. Guess what? I spent the first 3 hours.
Hey, trucker.
Trying to figure out what the hell happened. Where my tools were. I went to the house. His wife's telling me, well, you need to catch him on FaceTime. I heard some sounded so fucked up.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell, dude? Did you forget I was supposed to meet you there? He was like, well, you haven't showed up. I said, bullshit, I was there. I said, the damn job was done like you did the night before.
So right here, he's saying that Don would do things purposely to sabotage Dudley. So there would be an agreed upon location where they're supposed to meet, and Don would purposely route him the wrong way to a different location just so that Don could sneak in, do the work by himself, and then say that Dudley never showed up, which is really not nice.
That's the stupid shit he did to me, and it drove me nuts, man. I used to drive my wife crazy talking about that guy. He just blew my mind with shit he too. Big time issues.
You know, it sounds, when you tell me these stories, it honestly sounds like he was intentionally trying to throw you off his trail. He was jealous of you. And
that was wrong. His time.
Yeah.
He made a whole job, but he would get fucked up, you know?
Exactly.
And his wife,
yeah.
Why would you take a month to do a job when me and him was doing 2 or 3 a week?
Now, I do feel I should remind everybody watching this that, of course, there's 2 sides to the story. So this is just Dudley's side. This is the side he told me. Based on the information he gave me is how I formed my opinion. Doesn't, remember, there's always 3 sides, right? There's the side of one of the people, the other person, and then there's the truth. Based on the character, what do I want to call them? The character defects of, sorry to say, of Don and Candace, I kind of get the feeling that Dudley is probably telling the truth here. Again, could he fool me? Sure, anything's possible. I'm just telling you the impression I got was that he wants to live an honest life, and he was intentionally derailed by Don and basically sabotaged numerous times while working for him. He felt that it was because where Dudley had come from was a part of Louisiana. And he said that there you get paid by the job. You don't get paid by the hour. Now, what Don's used to is getting paid by the hour, so that he would drag out these jobs, right? So that he would be making every day a consistent amount of money. It's a reliable income. But in the end, you make more money by the job. And he said, Dudley told me that when he was working with Don, and he was, assisting him, that they were getting done I think it was 2 or 3 or 3 or 4 houses in a week, which was unusual. So it was making the productivity of the other guys look bad because now they're starting to pick up the pace on these jobs. So anyway, just to give you a little sidebar there. Exactly.
That's what talking about. He takes a long time. I said, but I think he needs help. And I went in there and they started bragging on him. So like I said, I was putting 5 buckets on his one bucket. So
yeah, I think he was trying to disparage your name because you were making him look bad because you work better than him.
Right. This is all known to do in his life is finish drywall. He knew I was multitasking. I could remodel all out. So it was really, and he was threatened by that. I get that a lot out here. I'm just used to working myself 18 years. I never worked by y'all. We work by the job. Contract. You know what I mean? He doesn't realize that. He's a subcontractor. That's how he's supposed to work. He gets paid when the job is done. He wasn't an hourly paid. He didn't want us work.
Yeah.
So, he's just shit, man. He's something else. Yeah. I got face to face with him, but I gotta be good.
I know.
I think about when he screamed at me and yelled at me in front of contractors and then there was like a piece of shit. I had to bite my tongue because I knew that if I did, Jesse's gonna fire me. Yeah. You know what though? I was his partner. I was doing it and make him look. And I was doing it working.
I know.
He should have worked the same way I did. He was the one that was sitting on a damn toilet the day that he fired me, staring at his phone like he lost something in his life. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. That was on a Monday.
Did you guys catch that? Right there, you said that the day before Summer came up missing, which I guess would have been the last day that he worked for Tucker, drywalling. The Don was sitting on the toilet. Dudley walked in and it looked, Don staring at his phone and he's looking at his screen as if something terrible had just happened. Like he looked, I don't know, desperate, sad, very concerned, worried. So he had, from his perception, from Dudley's perception, he had seen maybe something that made him concerned, right? Don wasn't acting right, in other words.
That's when I got fired. I was like, what the fuck's wrong with you? You look like you lost your best friend. You know what I mean? And I believe that's when something happened to Summer was when she was at that swimming hole. The shower. Yeah. She still looked like a blue baby in the damn backseat laying on the milk.
I know. People say they've tried that experiment now, having their kids lay their head on cold milk. And supposedly, I guess cold milk, kids can still sleep through it. I've never tried it.
She loved to come by me, you know what I mean? But he would have them in the house. Yeah. And he's walking on a walkboard. You know what I mean? That little girl could have got fallen off and got killed there.
I wonder if, and I should have clarified this, I wonder if walkboard means scaffolding.
Scaffolding, yes. Makeshift stairs, which we all saw this when Chris Madonna trekked his way to Tennessee to go to Hollerville. We saw how terrible the conditions are up at this address in Rogersville, Tennessee. And yes, it is a danger because they are not real stairs. But this goes to show you these people did what they want with their money. 9 times out of 10, they did receive a stimulus check for themselves and the children, and they blew the money on miscellaneous items such as drugs and alcohol, and possibly paying that little car note for that car, that nice Subaru that Candace drives. You see, they've never cared for themselves or their children. And to live in a place without adequate furnishings, walls, linen, decorations for windows, furniture, house hoarded up, dressers and eyesight of the front door. This goes to show you they didn't care about themselves or their home. They didn't care about what people saw, visited, anything visual to the eye. These people never cared. But I am sure the hammer is going to come down on them, such as the mess out there in Cal City. I believe now this case is getting ready to be another Cal City redo, with the state being involved in their financial affairs, tax affairs, any type of monies received from the government, child support, not child support, but like food stamps, any type of aid, medical. I think all that's getting ready to become a big issue if it has not already. 6 months in, they've messed themselves up. Because it doesn't take much for the state of Tennessee and probably other states too to withhold your funds from getting SSI. They think you've done anything fraudulent with your kids, monies, medical, they will strip you outright. And I know many people who have gotten their Social Security checks taken because they found out about drug use, other illegal activities. And also, if Candace has ever made mention that she's ever worked with Don, they could strip her from her SSI check, just for that alone. If she ever said she worked with Don Wells and didn't report that said income to the state of Tennessee and the Social Security Board. And as Duty Ron said the other day, as in the case with Cal City, there's a reason that all the children have been removed in both cases. Stay woke. Late in the game for Rogersville, but nonetheless, the boys were removed. Why?
He does, but I'm not sure. Maybe it's known as a different term there where he's from, in Louisiana.
I'm saying he didn't there. He was so careless with his kids.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're walking around smoking a joint with your son at 11 years old, what the fuck?
Oh, I know.
Excuse me. But goddamn, huh?
I know.
Job site. Erosion in the window, he can make me look bad like I did. But he never once mentioned that we spoke weed together. But he wants to call me a meth head. We ain't never done none of that together.
Yeah.
No, he did, because I could tell when you leave for 20 minutes, come back and he was zoom, zoom, zoom. He's a damn meth head, and he's a damn alcoholic. If he ain't got alcohol or meth, he smokes weed every day. He does anything he can get his hands on. I had to smoke weed to tolerate this motherfucker.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really did.
Yeah.
Where you went with him? I had to smoke it to tolerate being around this asshole because he was such a dick.
Yeah.
So,
I know.
I would never work for him again, and I would piss on if he was on fire.
That one always makes me laugh. I wouldn't piss on him if he was on fire. I'm sorry. That one makes me laugh, though.
Every time I run my wife there, she never wanted to go there again. The kids run out the damn house in underwear.
Oh, it sounds...
They shake their head. I said, what the fuck? It really just pisses me off that nobody knows the real side of Don Wells.
Well, I think I think people see it. It seems like he has this side of him that's very charming, and he can be real polite, and then he's got this evil side.
Oh, yeah.
That's very mean and violent.
God is a hurtful, wrongful person. He beats his kid. He beats his wife. He puts fear out. He blames it on alcohol, but the motherfucker's high. Just asking for ruining my damn life. You ripped me off for $1,500.
Oh my God.
I don't have no lights up here. I'm his worst nightmare. He will not come out me. And I thought for 1 second I knew the person that messed with my kid. The cops would have to get me out of it. I would be going after the body. And I have 3 kids, and my wife has 2 kids, and I'll tell you now, if anybody messes with our kids, they're going to have hell to pay with me. I wouldn't hurt a kid. I love kids.
Same here.
I just get it.
Let's go here. Do you believe Mr. Dudley? I think there's a reason why Donald Wells never mentioned this man's name in the beginning of this alleged abduction of Summer Wells. He knew he was somebody that he didn't want to go toe-to-toe with. He knew this, but he should have known eventually that Dudley Ray would eventually come out of hiding. Not want to say hiding, but come out and speak, because this is what people do. I don't have to agree with the timing, but nonetheless, the man has spoken. His wife has spoken in his commentary. And Don, I'm just going to say this outright, and I would say this about anybody, because this is just how I rock. I'm really surprised that you're even breathing, to be truthful. And I've always questioned people like you and Candy, how you all are able to afford the free oxygen that God's given you, because you don't got to pay for it. And you go out here and you keep doing old frivolous stuff to people, mean-spirited things to people, always stirring up shit, always causing problems, but yet you're still breathing, you're still walking around, and nobody's busted you to the white meat. Because I see people like you all the time. I live around people like you. When I go out on the weekends, I see people like you. Because there's people like you everywhere. And they're in suits, they're in church clothes, work clothes, homeless, mentally ill, all types of life. Act like the whales. And that's what everyone needs to stay focused on. There are people that act just like these people, and they work every day. They have good jobs. They have homes. They have nice cars. Some are homeless. Some are athletes. Some are Christians, non-Christians. There are people like this everywhere. People who stir up stuff, keep up stuff, always in stuff. They're misfits. They're menaces. And I want to make that clear. It has nothing to do with Rogersville. It has nothing to do with Tennessee. It has nothing to do with back in that community. Okay? There's people right now, educated, have 4 or 5 degrees. They're just as goofy and ignorant and belligerent as these people here. Let me make that clear. And I'm wondering how you people are afforded life, how you're able to walk around and still have breath in you. Because by now, you have crossed the path of somebody who's wanted to just beat you the hell down. And I think Dudley would be one of those people, and he makes that clear in this commentary. Thank you.
What do you guys hear when you hear him say that? Do you feel that what he's saying is genuine? Because I did, but you know, we all are gonna form our own opinions. I'm just curious to know what you guys think as you hear this. Carry on.
I don't understand it, but that I heard about the sister-in-law.
Yes.
It really started to think about the sick dreams this dude would tell me he was having. A week to 2 weeks prior, his kid turned up missing.
With the sister-in-law? Say that again. Are you saying with his sister-in-law or a stepsister, or?
Yeah, Candace's sister.
He was having dreams? He was having dreams about her?
No, he was having dreams about going to prison for doing something really bad.
To her?
Okay, walking in the house, beating the shit out of his kids, and they didn't clean the house. What's wrong with your fucking wife? You know? It was summer vacation.
Oh my God.
You know, they girls and kids, they treated those kids like a bunch of fucking snowbirds or Cinderella, whatever it was. That's how they treated their kids. It was horrible. They used to shit parents. I think about everything, it sounds legit. Like she's the one that shaved that little girl's hair.
I know.
You know?
Right, which is a lot.
Hair.
Right.
Maybe they did have. Maybe they were lazy. They didn't want to clean their kids' head.
Yeah.
I went down there life kicks and damn deer kicks.
Do you?
Them on the stairs. When I said the little girl went down there, she could have fallen. That shit died.
I know a lot.
She could have died. Wasn't wrong when they said the little boy said she had trouble swimming, and she said no, she didn't. I mean, it's like cover up for cover up, but you can't get the straight answer because they're all hiding something from each other. They all got to support each other.
I know. You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy too is that it's verified pretty much from some CPS documents. You know, from the DCS, the people who are going to take the kids, that Candace was having a relationship with Hunter.
He was.
Yeah.
He was. There was no reason for that kid to be over there. Shit wasn't that old. But,
Did you remember Grandma?
yeah. She didn't like Don.
Right.
He couldn't stand.
So now we're talking about Grandma. I had asked have you ever met Grandma Candace? And if so, what was your interpretation? What was your feeling on her?
Yeah. They might have been all right woman, but every time they would come to the job site, because they would always come to the job site, they'd be fighting like crazy. Don and his old lady. He'd have to tell his mother-in-law, shut the fuck up.
Oh, man.
I was like, he just don't know how to talk to women, though. He's one of those people that think women don't have say-sos.
Yes, a misogynist.
Huh?
He's a chauvinist, a misogynist type who doesn't think women have any say.
No, he don't. He's a piece of shit.
I'm still interested about this part where you said that he was having dreams about him. So here I am, I'm trying to clarify. What did he mean? He dropped sister-in-law's name in the same pretty much sentence as Don was having dreams about going to prison for life. So here I was trying to clear that up. So I think I misinterpreted it, but again, I still don't altogether know. I wasn't there. I wasn't there to hear what Don was trying to convey to Dudley when he told him about these dreams he was having. All I know is that he said that he was dreaming, Don was dreaming that he was going to prison for life, that he had beaten up his kids, and the rest I'm just a little bit unclear about, but we'll listen to it right now.
Hold on. Perhaps Don is dreaming these things, as someone said in the chat. Your sober thoughts are usually put into your dreams. If you watch something long enough, you hear something long enough, you talk about something long enough, you will dream about it. Everybody knows that. You had an altercation with somebody. 9 times out of 10, at some point, you're going to dream about whatever altercation you had, or it'll be in another form. Perhaps Don knows that his time is ticking. He's done something to his children and wife. He knows that it was going to play out at some form, perhaps. I'm not really sure. My thing is, a demon will have other demons chasing behind them. Why not? Don't ever think a demon won't turn on his own kind. Come on now. Satan is cruel. Thank you, Janet. Satan ain't never told nobody that. Now, just because I ride with you, don't mean I won't stab you in your back again. But yet you ride with the devil anyway. And people do it every day. You ride with people you know are not your kind, not your fit, but you keep being around them because you're getting some type of enjoyment out of it. You have to stay woke. This is a very odd situation going on here. Possibly not even odd. It's just really, it's familiar, depending on the lifestyle you live. A lot of people aren't really familiar with these type of people, because a lot of people do, hang around some upstanding people. And it's not to say that upstanding people aren't flawed. Naturally, everybody has sins and have done things, fornicated, lied, stolen. But the point is, they don't know about the things that they have done. And Don has probably done a lot of dirty things. He and Candy both. Grandis too. I don't know. I'll throw her in there too, because I don't trust her at this point. But who knows what he's done? And as far as the Rose situation, I don't believe he was around. There are no receipts to confirm that he lived up there in Wisconsin when this young lady went missing. I do believe her husband is behind her disappearance, because they were having a lot of altercations. She had also arrests on her for domesticated violence before she went missing. They had a lot of issues. And naturally, this man wouldn't want her to take the children if she ever threatened to take the kids. Hell no, he's not going to let her take the children. Most men are going to say that. You're not taking the kids. You understand what I'm saying? Especially if she didn't work. She'd be worried about how she's going to take care of her children. But naturally, people who have spoken up on her behalf have said she wouldn't leave her kids. Candace has given commentary that she was not up there. She was in between Arkansas and Wisconsin at the time that her sister went missing. So therefore, as I said, you have to bring a receipt. Who was there when Rose was alive? 2, what would be the motive for killing Rose? Stay woke. Thank you for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. I will resume the video.
His sister-in-law, before Summer ever came up missing. That's the part that trips my trigger. That's weird.
Yeah, I mean, he would have these crazy dreams. He was telling me about going to prison for a long time. out of my kids. I hit them too hard. I mean, this is before the summer come up missing, so.
And the sister, Candace's sister, he would mention her in that same, like, where he's talking about it.
On her ass. And they probably killed her.
I think so too. Because how are two people? Again, this is only my opinion. Don't let this influence you. Only my opinion. Doesn't mean I'm right. But that is how I felt. I felt that since almost day one, with the exception of, there was a moment, I would say maybe a day or two, where I started to think, well, maybe they're innocent. Excuse me. There was just a brief moment of time where I really felt that. And then I kind of got real with the story. It doesn't add up. And then there were just certain things that happened that made me even more suspicious of the overall story. But again, we don't know what happened to Summer. We're just trying to put all the things, the facts that we can find out on the table and weigh the evidence, just in our opinion, in what is the court of people's opinion. Overall, though, this is up to law enforcement. We're not going to solve this. It's not our job. But we do take part in discussing it online, and that's why I'm even taking the time to go over this right now, because we are searching for answers. Anyway, here we go. People from the same family missing. That's bizarre.
Yeah. Somebody chose something on his sister. I bet you any money if they did kill her, I bet you the baby is buried by the sister.
Oh, that's an interesting thought.
You never know.
Right. Yeah, you never know. I think those kids are...
Let me go here. First of all, like I said, you've got to prove these people were living in the same demographic as Miss Rose. A motive for killing Miss Rose. Stay woke. What would be the motive? You have to prove it. As I said, the husband will be my first person I would suspect, because they had a lot of problems and they had a lot of domestic violence issues with one another. And naturally, the husband would be the first person law enforcement would look at pertaining to the disappearance of a wife. As far as burying the child, once again, it's going to be the same thing. You got to be able to get up there wherever she's buried, which I would assume in the state of Wisconsin or nearby, if she is buried, if she is actually deceased. How would they have time to get up there if the child actually went missing on June 15th? That means the child would have had to have not been missing the 15th and missing before the 15th. Then that means whatever H and Allie said about the 15th is a lie. This is why I always tell you all to think before you speak, because it has to make sense. The theory. Two people are vouching for seeing the child on the 15th. So how would they have gone up there to bury her in a whole nother state up north if these two people are vouching for seeing her on the 15th? Stay woke now. Thank you all for joining me.
They're so much better off without them.
They don't deserve them.
No, they don't. I can't believe that about the oldest boy smoking weed with his dad at 11. That's crazy.
Right. I can't believe that when
Yeah.
my husband had told me that. I said, are you kidding me? But yeah, I mean, it was every day. Like, I'm embarrassed about your day, your work. I said, but I'm sorry. I can't listen about no more on.
Yeah. I bet you got so tired of hearing about him, huh?
Because he would come home and he was just so stressed out. He's like, so I'm going to do one thing, and he gets mad and yells at me because he forgets that he told me to do something else and blah, blah, this and that.
I'm going there, she's going somewhere else, and then he's trying to talk me out of my money.
Yes.
And he got me in the last one.
Yes. He was making an excuse for taking money from you, is what I think, not paying you the full amount.
Wife was before his daughter comes up missing and throws me in like as if I did to get my money.
I personally thought the way that went down, I feel like that he just wanted my husband all the way.
Because I was covered. He couldn't do the shit he wanted to do that he was hiding when he told me to take the knife and bring my bill.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, all that shit back. I said, don't ever ask me to bring nothing again.
Yeah. It was an effort to frame you, I think. That's what that was.
Well, he was framing me to get me kicked out because that's all he has over there. If he didn't work for Contractor, he wouldn't have a job nowhere around here.
No.
Let me talk about this job situation. Yes, most jobs, such as paid under the table, should be paid by the job, not the hour. That's the whole point of it being under the table, just like a cleaning job. You know, some people will agree to what the person wants done, such as a housekeeper. The owner may say, well, I want you to come clean my house and I'll pay you this, this, and this, either by the hour or by the job. And so it's really up to you what you will take, because there's no such thing as somebody forcing you to take money for money under the table. So if Don was paying this guy out of pocket, out of his own pocket from what Mr. Tucker was paying him, it was up to Mr. Dudley to say, well, I'm worth this, blah, blah, blah. When he got his first check, and this is me personally, I don't care if I was a man, whatever. The first Friday, whatever, I work for you. I don't get my $1,500, $1,800. It's a wrap. I'm not showing back up. I'm not coming back in. You're not going to send me on a goose chase nowhere. And you will hear all that commentary of him running around and Don sending him on different places so Don could possibly, get to the place there first to do the work and then try to act like, oh, what happened? You didn't show up, blah, blah, blah. Do you understand what I'm saying? Thank you, Jewel. See, he's a game player. He's been a game player. That's what you all need to understand about this man, woman. They've been manipulating people all their lives. They don't know anything but the hustle. And this is how a lot of people live. And this is what a lot of people don't understand who, don't live the life. It's called the life. This is all they know. It's hustling people, manipulating people, crying wolf. This is all they've done. And this is all they know. That's why you got the story now, Dudley Ray coming forward. Okay, this is all Don has done. It's swindle, con, manipulate, double juggling, as we call it in the street. And I know you're like, now, Angela, what do you know about that? Don't ask. I'm just telling you what I've seen. It's double juggling at best. You're double juggling somebody. Come on, yeah, I'll pay you this, and then boom. First week, $300 of $1,500. Man, I'm telling you, Don would have gotten hit to the white meat. To the white meat. And got robbed on the spot. Y'all ain't listening. Don would have gotten robbed on the spot had he had it $300 of a $1,500 work week, $1,800, whatever the amount was, he would have gotten beat to sleep where he stood. And the story would be about Don Wells missing. Did y'all hear that? He would have got beat to death. And all whatever he had on him would have been in that man's pocket. And if he lived, he wouldn't have swindled anybody else out of any money. Exactly. Ting. Stay woke.
He knew that one of our cars was messing up with the drive shaft and shit. He knew that,
Yeah,
and
well,
he wanted to close it off.
That's where he broke down somewhere.
And then Don doesn't like that, that his alibi, that is the truth,
Yeah.
He took the stuff out, had it repaired, and then he put it back with it, and he comes around and says that, well, that's what a meditate does, and just come around with your vehicle all day. He knew that the vehicle was, messing up.
Oh, man.
We had two cars, but he was working and I worked too, and, our son had ball games, during that time, and I would have to be at a certain place whenever
Yeah.
he did come home, or he would take our other car to work and stuff, and he knew that the car was messed up, but then he wants to play off that, well, that's his alibi, that's what it meant, that does the paint on your car, and wanted her to work.
Yeah.
That last phone call, you're paying the undercut or whatever this much. Yeah. But, we like to have, clean up things,
Yes.
We don't live in a we give out a clean home,
Right.
clean vehicle, and it's just that his lifestyle and our lifestyle was completely different, and I've been on a living, and
Yeah.
he had his own business for 18 years, and he used to work and to get.
Well, yeah, that's another point. They told me that when I think they lived back, if it was Louisiana, I think, that Dudley had his own business for 18 years. So he was used to doing his own thing. And the biggest, I think, conflict for him since moving to Tennessee is that he notices a difference in the work ethic. So just another thing that they talked about.
The job done and 9 o'clock and working by the hour.
Yeah.
Work by the hour.
But just because you outwork someone doesn't mean that you're on drugs.
Right.
Hello, everybody in the chat.
The white man says weigh 200 pounds.
Good point.
Right.
Like I said, I've done 18 years. I got paid by the job, and he was lying.
Scorpion. I've got to acknowledge Scorpion in the chat. Homie is diehard warrior. Hey, let me tell you something. I don't care what your race is. There comes a point when you have got to put your big girl, big boy draws on and handle your business. Now, I'm not telling you to resort to violence, but if somebody owes you money for the work that you have done, you owe them everything off your tongue to tell them, hey, I want my money. It's my money. I earned it and I want it. And I don't want it in installments because I didn't give you the work in installments, excuse me. So give me my money the same way I gave you the work. This is why I said Dudley should have never gone back after the first run. If he was paid weekly on that Friday, whatever day it was that he got paid, he should have bailed out and deleted Don Wells' number and told Mr. Tucker how he felt. My understanding, he did confront Mr. Tucker, but they favored Don because obviously Don has worked for them for a long time. And that goes into question Don's work ethic, because why would I keep a person with me working if they were doing a shitty job? So this stuff about the mixing up the mud and hiding the mud, it seems very interesting. And I'm not saying that Dudley is lying, but something that's strange is why would this Tucker dude keep him on to work if Don has been doing a half-assed job with the drywalling? See, this is where it's going to become a conflict, because now, yes, people are going to start talking. People are going to start remembering this Tucker company. Oh, they work for me. Oh, yeah, I had some issues with my house. Boom, boom, boom. Now, Mr. Tucker, what are you getting ready to do about the situation? Are you ready to own up that you've got a face fuck working for you and you've aided this man to work and do shitty ass work? Because there's other people out here who I know can do the same work that Don Wells does. So I don't want to hear any mess that this is why you kept him on. So what is the real reason why you have kept Donald Wells working for you? Now, at one point, people were rallying, talking about going over there to this Tucker guy, messing with him. I really wasn't in cahoots with that because, like I said, you got to know your place when it comes to this, going and jumping in front of doorways, hooping and hollering about, oh, this is for summer. You have to tread very light because you can't go and accuse the people of something that you don't have a receipt to. But now that Dudley is speaking, okay, Mr. Tucker, what's the real dude? I mean, what's the real deal with what was going on? But Donald Wells is your worker versus your other workers and the work ethic. Because now that's all getting ready to come into question. What is the truth? Have you been paying Donald Wells to do a shitty job? And for what reason? And the only time I can think of when people allow people to do shitty work for them is they've got some type of entanglement going on. Bingo card. Come on with it, Queen. The only time you continue to let people work for you that do shitty work is if there's some hanky-panky going on. So are we talking about Donald doing half-baked jobs occasionally? Or this one instance with Mr. Dudley? What are we saying? Because I just refuse to believe this Tucker guy has been paying Mr. Wells for an extensive amount of time to do bad work. Unless he's shady himself. Bingo card number 2. Stay woke. Exactly. Checkmate. Could it be Mr. Tucker? It's not on the up and up. So whatever we're thinking about Mr. Wells being the schemer scammer with his mud, who's to say Mr. Tucker ain't told him to do the 2 coats of the mud? Stay woke. Always listen to what's been told to you. Thank you. Gonna finish this on out.
I can't stand him.
I know. I feel so bad for what he's done to you guys. It's not fair. It's not right.
Okay, because, I get, people say, I've seen this video, blah, 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 they're mentioning your husband, blah, 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 and
Yeah.
I get tired, and
Yeah, they're pulling you into it. You guys don't belong involved. Yeah, you don't belong involved. You guys sound like very, very good people. And Candace and Dawn are not good people at all. They're not your caliber.
I went there one time at their home to pick up them ready for the week.
Yeah.
And of course, I was in the room by the vehicle, and he was taking me into that hole, and I was like,
One more time. Mr. Tucker and Don are probably on the same page. That's why he's never fired Donald Wells. Why when Mr. Dudley went to him, he waved his hand. Are y'all listening? He didn't fire Don because perhaps Mr. Tucker is the orchestrator of shady business. Many people do it every day. They go in to do things for people, roofing, drywalling, paint, cabinetry, and they do a shitty job. But yet they're still open. It's only a matter of time that somebody says, they call them bluff. Hey, don't go to these people. Don't pay these people. They don't do good work on your cars. They're overcharging for parts, blah, blah, blah. Okay, somebody's saying money laundering and the building sites are covered. Could be. I don't know. But all I'm saying is, first of all, who's Mr. Tucker? What's his stake in the game for keeping this guy on that's allegedly not doing good work? Or was this a one-time thing that Don was doing? I don't know. But Don's a compulsive liar, so probably not. You're right. Is this job a cover, this company? Are they doing other shady things? I don't know. I don't know Mr. Tucker. But all this will come into question now, because now Mr. Tucker is being put on blast by Mr. Dudley by revealing all this information pertaining to Donald Wells. That's why I told you. With Mr. Dudley coming forward now, it's about to be on like Donkey Kong. YouTube is on fire at this point. Because now Donald is getting ready to rebuff all of this, and Mr. Tucker is going to have to come forward and say something to hold his name. Because Donald Wells don't have anything, but Mr. Tucker allegedly is the proprietor of this business. So it's about to get real ugly. Lord have mercy. Somebody get the fire extinguisher.
I was like, where are we going? I was like, this looks like a horror movie, and then I see her sitting on a bicycle. She was completely sweaty and stuff, and her eyes looked so dark. And I'm like, please, let this go. We went there no more than 10, 15 minutes max. I counted his money. I was like, please count it to verify it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. You didn't feel comfortable, did you, Miss Linda?
No, not at all. Not at all. I didn't roll my window up. I barely had it cracked, and then the kids came out. They're all their underwear dirty.
They're running off of a damn walkboard on his house because he couldn't put a pair of stairs.
Oh, my God.
Running down a walkboard in their drawers. The girl didn't even have a shirt on.
Yeah,
With a bald head.
and Ray pointed that out to me, which I honestly was irate. I was but
Oh, okay.
God called him Ray.
Okay.
So Ray was like, he pointed him out. Well, his middle name's Ray, so we go by Ray. So he pointed his camera out to me. He's like, that was the little girl I said, you are kidding me.
Yes.
You know, and like, he was wearing the wear to the little boy. And whenever we first met up with Washington County, we both said, you need to go back and trace that picture of that little girl in that red shirt. That's not what she looks like.
Exactly.
The little girl I saw looked like a boy.
Yes.
She has a fast haircut. So it was from the beginning. So what did she look like?
Yes.
Let me interject right here. Yes, boom. What the Queen has been saying for the past month. If I was a stalker, a pedophile, watching this family lurking in the shadows, lurking in the woods, Summer would look like a boy to me. Ding, ding, ding. Bingo card number 1050. Imagine the abductor stalking the property. 3 boys were left alone allegedly on this fateful day, June 15th. They're looking in the shadows. Who's to say what Summer had on if indeed she actually was at the property that afternoon? I'm not looking at a girl child perhaps, but I'm looking at a boy child. So if I'm to believe this scenario of an abduction, then the stalker, if he or she is not known to the Wells, then that means the abductor was looking for a boy. Stay woke, possibly. You see, always weigh the scenario. The fact that this woman thought that that was a boy child and her husband had to tell her that that was a girl. So what was she wearing the first day Miss Linda saw her on the property? Did she have on girl clothes? Because wouldn't I say, oh my, pretty little girl, but her hair is buzzed. Why? Not, honey, is that a boy? Was I curious when I first saw her? Oh, my husband had to tell me that's a girl? Stay woke. Punishment from the mother, evil mother, bitter mother, masculine mother. Or were they doing seedy things on the dark web pertaining to Summer and her boys? I don't know. See, this is where it gets very tricky and vile when we start to wonder what these people were doing, one, to their children, also with outside parties, either in the town, out of the town, and the internet. Because your mind starts to wander. And I hate going down that road of all that Illuminati, conspiracy type stuff. I don't rock like that because I know 9 times out of 10, anything that goes bump in the night, 1 or 2 people are involved. It's rarely a conspiracy. Even with all the cases you hear of missing children, missing adults, it's not a conspiracy. It's not the Illuminati. It's not some cloak and daggers. It ain't the state office. It's one person decided to get rid of somebody. That's the bottom line. 2 people decided to get rid of somebody. That's the bottom line. And 9 times out of 10, it's the parent and or the caretakers. Parent, guardian, foster parent, adoptive parent, plural. No Illuminati, no state workers, no Masons, no witchcraft, no devil worshiping, just some mean ass parents that didn't want to be bothered anymore. That's it.
Exactly.
I mean, they got that little country living, they're going to play out dirty, but still get a little girl, at least put a shirt on her.
Oh, I know.
Good question.
You're right. They didn't even have sheets on the bed
Irma.
for the children. I just can't imagine not taking care of my children properly. I've got kids of my own. I can't imagine this.
No, I can't imagine living like that.
No.
I mean, making good money, there is no reason for it.
Exactly. Good money. Why are they living like that? Question number 1. Why are you treating your children in an inhumane way? Why are you beating your children? Why are your children coming outside half dressed? This is very disrespectful to the spirit. It is very disrespectful to have girl and boy children coming outside nude and naked. I never have believed in children running around in just their pamper, especially outside. You want to let your baby run around inside the house and just a pamper, that is your business, that is your home. But when your child steps outside, he or she needs to have on full clothes and shoes. It doesn't matter if it's grassy up there. We also have seen what the type of property they have. It's disgusting and it's vile. It's filled with nothing but metal things up there, buses and cars and anything for a child to get into. So it wasn't feasible for children to be up there, up on the compound without adequate clothing and shoes. And please retrace your memory back to Miss Earhart's commentary from the TBI that Summer was allegedly outside with no shoes on, with the pink shirt and gray pants, but that is not what we see her in the said video uploaded at 3:09 to TikTok by Candace Bly Wells. I tell you to stay woke, because now we're factoring in at least 3 different sets of clothing that the child wore on June 15th. And if I'm to believe that the child had an accident, well, then what happened to her? And in the end, as I've told many of you, it is not going to matter if it was an accident or not. You've got to convince 12 members of a jury that you had lost your mind completely to go discard your child from an accident. You lied for months into the investigation of the disappearance of your child. Your child has an active Amber Alert. So how are you going to explain dumping her body out into the elements and continuing to lie with a fake call to the dispatch, which is a crime in most states to report someone missing and they're not? It's a foul, it's a fake report. It's crime number 1. Crime number 2, what actually happened? Crime number 3, abuse of a corpse. Crime number 4, aiding and abetting and covering up. Tampering with witnesses. Boy H, stay woke. Too many to name. Too many bingo cards to name. All because a child had an accident. Stay woke. Shaved head, coming outside nude, half naked, half dressed, looking like a boy. Why did you do this to your child, Candace Bly Wells? You see, when you look at the situation of these said commentaries, videos that you've posted and pictures you've posted to social media, you moan and cry about people being cruel to you and your husband and being mean, but yet your husband in the same breath went to YouTubers to look for hope, but he didn't give hope because you didn't give hope to Summer and the brothers. Where was the hope for the children? Where was the love and safety for the children? You doused your own children with gasoline, and yet you would have the nerve to talk bad about YouTubers and people on social media. You should take the blame yourselves because you are the ones who procreated those children. I didn't send for you. YouTube didn't send for you because we didn't know you. You're just another number. You and Don, your children, you're just numbers. You created this mess. And now there are going to be some people, hopefully TBI and law enforcement, who are going to finish it and find out the truth to what happened to Summer Wells June 15th. And God forbid any other atrociousness you all have exacted back there in that hollow. You orchestrated this mess. Whether you sold Summer Wells, you bartered Summer Wells, you murdered Summer Wells, it's not going to really matter. Because as I've told you all, what sane person would keep a child when there's an Amber Alert issue? You can't bring her outside. So what would be the purpose of raising her as your own child? For good reasons. Still a crime to buy a human being. Stay woke. It is against the law to buy a human, sell a human. So it will not matter who they gave her to, who they sold her to. And by law, you can hand your children over to somebody to raise. But where the problem comes in, filing a fake report that she's missing. That is a crime. Sold, bartered, killed her. Fake police report. Tie it all together. Bring me an answer. Ransom. Donations. Child is hidden. So what will be the cost for bringing Summer Wells out if indeed she's alive? Stay woke. Who's going to be the person to bring her forward without being questioned by the FBI? Because if the story is murky, sounds murky, there will be no reward. Stay woke. And the fact that the stats don't lie, the 9 times out of 10, Candace Bly Wells, Grandis, and Donna Wells is behind the disappearance of Summer Wells. Those are the stats. It's not a myth. Not conjecture, not a rumor. It's the stats. Most children are murdered by their parents, point blank. So bring me a receipt to an abduction.
Oh, and also, I feel like their story corroborates a little bit of what Jody Sue has said before and how much money she figured Dawn was making. I think I've heard Jody Sue say something like $1,500 or $2,000 a week. That's what kind of money they're used to actually earning. So for me, that corroborated what she had said.
Clean home for those children. I never went inside the house like that.
Oh, and that there would be no excuse to not have these bare necessities, these things that we should not deprive our kids of. Just hygiene alone, right? You should have a made bed for your children. You should have 3+ meals a day for your kids, for their development. Take them to regular doctor's appointments and dentist appointments, and allow them to form friendships and play sports. And
exactly.
all this stuff matters for when you're rearing a child. And I feel like that none of that mattered from everything we've ever heard about Dawn and Candace, that none of that mattered. And that's why I feel little Summer, she never had a chance. She never had a chance. And that's what's really the most tragic part of all. But see, these boys, these sons of theirs, they have a second chance. And they could change, and become these incredible, not that they're not incredible now, but they could overcome these hard parts of their childhood that have so damaged them to the core and make great lives for themselves. But my concern is that Summer will never have that opportunity. And I hate to lose hope, but it's been 6 months and nothing yet. We're going to finish this up here in just a second. I can hear my family coming home. It's going to get loud.
I never got out of the vehicle. And neither did my husband that day, Smart. I mean, I don't want to get people, but that's one woman I wouldn't want to mess with.
No, me neither. She's a bulldog. She is meaner than a snake. Yeah, they can be very evil people. That's why it doesn't surprise me if possibly they were involved in the sister's disappearance. That doesn't surprise me.
Everybody.
Yeah, that's what I said to her. That's why I said that they are evil. I've got so much evil in her. I good in her.
Oh, yeah. Now the TBI, I assume they thoroughly interviewed you, right, Ray?
Yes, they did. That's why I worked. Yeah, the TBI interviewed him.
I'm sure.
Yeah, he comes from Washington County and the TBI.
Okay.
I was only with him when we talked to Washington County because I was at work whenever, they came around and talked to him. And
yeah. Yeah. Wow. Did you get the impression they're not believing his story also, Ray? Did you get the impression that law enforcement is not believing their story either?
Yeah, I mean, what are they going to do, though?
I know.
They know where that kid is, and all they're doing is giving them enough time to hang themselves, or write themselves out.
I think so too.
It's like he did with the damn writing on the walls. He said he swore I did all that, but then he admitted yesterday that he did it.
I heard his last phone call with Andrea or whoever.
Yeah, Andra.
I was like, I said, honey, you gotta listen to this. He said, no, I don't want to hear. I said, no, I want you to hear this for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, he is once again blaming you, saying that you need to be investigated, blah, this and that, and I was like, and it's not, I said, this man knows you were nowhere around. You know,
Lance, you're killing me. Please stop.
The day before.
Yeah.
So like I said, it's like a personal thing between Dawn and Ray.
Right.
Not really with my husband, but it's like with Dawn, it's like he has this personal, like grudge or want to get out on him, you know?
Yeah. To me it sounds like he was jealous of your husband's work ethic. That's what I think. Because why is he trying to say so much mean stuff, right?
Yeah. And I even told my husband that, you know, because he's from Louisiana, the people out here don't work like how you are used to working. With the hourly pay, you got a lot of people that want to ride the clock. I said, you want to work and bust your butt and get the job done, because you know that once the job is done, you get paid and you move on to the next project, you know?
Yes. Yes.
And I said, you know, a lot of people out of here do feel intimidated by that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It makes
You know,
them
I said,
look
it's
bad.
not.
Yeah.
I said, it's just that, you know, they're looking at it as their job security. They need to push you out the door so they can continue to lag and do whatever, you know?
I actually have a friend who has a similar effect on people. She and I went to culinary school together in Hawaii, and she was such like the best worker, so diligent, not only with her studies, but then with anything we had to do in our kitchens. It was like she was always the first to do it. She just was a shining star. We were the only two females in the whole class, so we were destined to be friends because we were all that we actually had. But where this relates is, I think that when you outshine somebody,
Yes.
there's a jealousy that can take root.
Yes.
And in
So
this
true.
particular case, I think it's possible, and I could be totally wrong. I think it's possible that maybe from the get-go, Don thought that he was being outshined by him. If it's true that he really does work very hard, and that they did start going through, 2-3 houses a week versus like 1 or 2 a month, then there was a jealousy aspect there because it was making Don look bad. So in the end, the part that I haven't told you yet, I don't think, it's hard to remember back, but I want to tell you kind of the timeline of Dudley and how it all happened for him with this investigation and stuff. So on June 15th, Summer comes up missing. It was the day before that he was fired. So I guess late, Tuesday night, early into Wednesday morning, Don told law enforcement that Dudley was the person to blame, the perpetrator. So law enforcement went over to Dudley's father's house because his father is a senior, he is a junior, and that was another bone he had to pick over that situation, was because Don knew that Dudley's dad lived in Churchill, and Don knew that Dudley Jr., who was the person he was blaming, actually lived in Virginia. And so Don sent law enforcement to his dad's house in Churchill. So his dad ends up, I guess, answering the door, or whether it was a phone call, I can't remember. And the next day, he gets a call. Dudley gets a call from his dad saying, like, hey, son, are you okay? Are you in some sort of trouble? And he didn't know what was going on. But from there, he was passed the phone number he was passed over the phone number to that specific, I think it was Hawkins County, or maybe it was TBI. It could have been TBI. And then Dudley ended up speaking to that law enforcement agency. From there, he ended up in that interview process is when he found out that Summer was missing. That would have probably been on Wednesday, I think. Yeah, she came up missing on Tuesday night. So it would have been on Wednesday that he found out, because first they had the wrong guy. They got his, they contacted his dad instead. Anyway, long story short, from there, Don screwed him over with money. He was supposed to pay him $1,800. And I think it was Thursday or Friday when Don and Dudley met up over at Dudley's house. Dudley actually had his neighbor filming this just in case Don was going to get fresh with him. I don't believe that part ended up happening. Like there wasn't a major squabble or anything that happened. But hello, club. So now I'm all derailed. Okay, so from there, $1,800 was what he was owed. Don did not pay him that. He only paid him $300. Dudley was really upset about that. And he felt that actually the reason Don was pointing the finger at him was so that he could short him. Don could short Dudley out of the money that he owed him. And if he ends up going to jail for Summer's disappearance, then even better yet, he wouldn't have to pay him the money he owes him. So Dudley's done with him. He's very upset. He feels slighted. His name, of course, like I said, has been dragged through the mud. It's unfair what's happened. And again, I disclose this. There are two sides to every story. This is the story I was told. I'm basing my opinion off of what they told me as a couple. So I'll go ahead and leave it there. This was the meat and potatoes of the interview. The rest of it's kind of just speculation and stuff like that, which I think we all have that anyway. We all speculate. So it's not the most important parts. But what you heard was the important parts. So anyway, I thank you so much for watching this. Please, let's help keep this drama to a minimum. They don't deserve this. They're just trying to live their lives and pick up the pieces from my observation.
Let me stop right there. Sweetie Pie, it's a wrap at this point, sugar. Keeping the drama to a minimum. How can it be kept to a minimum when now Mr. Dudley has come forward to give his commentary on what transpired between he and Mr. Donald Wells? The drama is already out of control. And that's what happens when people start to speak and talk. I listened to Dudley Ron over the weekend, giving his commentary. As most of you know, he doesn't like a lot of fluff and talk and gossip about the cases because he is a retired detective. So naturally, he speaks from a detective's point of view and not, a regular civilian's point of view. And as he said, he feels that we as people should not aid people in talking to the Wells and spewing what they're saying and not saying. Don't aid the channel holders in what they're saying, that he said and that she said. But see, this is what happens when people talk. Don has helped this. The same people he's judging are the same people he ran to get this alleged hoax out about the child being abducted. And we are human beings. And naturally, I don't listen to everything that's being said on YouTube or on people's channels. That's just not me. I don't have that kind of time to run from channel to channel, listening to an interview, listening to what somebody said. Some people get a little irate. Well, why didn't you go listen? And why don't you? Why should I? Think about what you're saying. You want me to spend my ever waking moment running from channel to channel, listening to what Pookie said and what Bubba said about something, when in the end, everything's up for interpretation because I wasn't there, so I don't know what these people did to this kid. I don't know if they sold her, if they beat her, if she fell down the flight of stairs, if one of the children did something to her. They put her up on the dark web. They bought her out. They sold her for drugs. They wanted her back. 2 hours over here. What the hell would I know? I have no idea. But what I do know is their behavior is suspect, and that's good enough for me. Because you're not acting like decent people who have a child that's been abducted, missing, whichsoever. But I get Duty Ron's point is that, hey, everything right now is white noise because it's all he said, she said, and gossip. So you're entitled to believe the Wells. You're entitled to believe Mr. Dudley, Boy H, Allie, Jody Sue, whoever else wants to jump out the damn cake and start talking about these crazy ass people. But the sick part of this story is that this happens every day. This happens every day. And the common denominator are the parents. If these children had better adults taking care of them, you wouldn't have anybody testifying about nothing. He did this. She did this. He said this. They had on blue shoes, white shoes, pink hat, pink purse, pink pants, pink shirt. You see where I'm going? You wouldn't have all of this stuff if these bobbleheads would shut up. Just shut up. You can't blame people for something you orchestrated. Let's just say these goofy ass people are innocent. Candy and Don did nothing to Summer. Somebody abducted her. How in the hell are you helping? By talking nasty, name-calling, racist remarks, homophobic remarks. How are you helping find your kid? You are not. Throwing your wife under the bus, making sly remarks about her, slick-ass comments, live, talking to anybody with a pulse. And remember, a chat member has now become a YouTuber. Stay woke. It's all of this is insane to me. The whole business of this social media YouTube is sickening. And the common denominator with all these cases is that it's the parents. All the hoopla that's going on with the internet is the parents. If these kids had decent parents, we wouldn't even have anything to repeat. It'd just be me saying, well, I think they're guilty. I think they're innocent. I'd have nothing to say and talk about what I heard, what Pookie went and said over here, what somebody said in a Facebook group, who started a channel, blah, 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 who's got a GoFundMe, who went and got a lawyer, who went and got a private detective, who went and got a PR manager, who went and set up a site to pay to listen. Are you following me? These people are doing the most. And that's the dangerous part of the story pertaining to missing people. It's the people involved. They don't act like they are concerned. And then you got the side pieces, which I've seen in every case that I've talked about, that want to be seen, want to be a Captain Save-A-Ho. Oh, I went in the neighborhood. I went looking. I can go on for hours about this. In every case I've spoke about a missing kid or a missing adult, there were people who jumped in the story, immersed themselves for 5 minutes of fame. And then they went to Facebook and got a following because people saw them on YouTube. Their name was mentioned. Boom, 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 boom. So now they've got a following like they're a damn rock star. And it's like, excuse me, we're talking about a missing kid over here. Who the hell are you? See, this is where it gets out of control. And I've had just about enough of it. Thank you, Botanical. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and hurry up. The list is so long. I got to run through it. Dudley, why are you speaking now? Do we believe what you're saying? Do you have a reason to lie about what you said about Mr. Don Wells? As they say, 3 sides to the story. His side, and the truth. There will be a rebuff of these claims, I'm sure, by Donald Wells and others. He claims he's been duped $1,500, only paid $300. Why is that? Claims that he's made a lot of money, Mr. Donald Wells, living, working for this company. Why is your house in such disarray? Children outside running naked, half dressed, all that shit on the property. What is this all about? Druggies, alcohol, is that where your money's been going? Stimulus checks. They were entitled to stimulus checks unless they owed the government. But then we know all claims of anything owed by the government, tax, school loans, you still were able to get the stimulus if you filed the paperwork. Homeless, no job, whatever. So they got the stimulus check. What have they been doing with their monies? Is she receiving money from the government, state, funds, medical, food stamps? Is she claiming down on any of her personal effects for the state? Is it true she's getting SSI? SSI means I ain't got to tell you nothing, but it's just me and my kids. Donald don't work nowhere. Stay woke. Queen been woke. The children have been aided and afforded to be with these monkeys because nobody spoke up and said anything on their behalf. So now we have to question CPS. If it is true what he is saying about CPS, then that means the state. What was your problem with letting the kids stay there for 6 whole weeks? Because remember, I keep telling you all, something's off with this story about the state coming and the cleaning of the house and yah. Okay, so we're saying the state's been involved. They had knowledge that the state was coming. He's been hiding out of his job to avoid the state. But once again, after June 15th, the boys were allotted to stay in the Wells house 6 weeks later. So are we now saying that the state was involved before Summer went missing and the state dropped the ball? Why did you give that picture of Summer at a younger age with the hair bow, red hair bow, Don and Candy? Were you trying to deceive the police? This is similar to Cal City. In Cal City, only one picture was ever uploaded about the children missing, and to this day, no other photos have ever been uploaded of the 2 missing Cal City boys. Why? Why is that? It is alleged that that photograph came from Jamal Watkins off his Facebook page. Similar situation as in with Summer. Why these pictures? What's the deal? Possible human trafficking. Is this true? Are all parties involved in the human trafficking of their child? Did you give that photo of her with the hair bow because you were ashamed to give a picture of her with a shaved head? But that makes no sense because you have nothing but content on your social media pages with the child's head shaved. What are we saying? I'd love to see what the TBI has on their devices. Don is mentioning getting high with this said guy, Mr. Dudley. He also admits he hasn't done any other felonious drugs outside of getting high on weed with Mr. Donald Wells. I'm sure you regret that, Dudley Ray, ever getting high with him on weed. Very interesting. Dudley talking about Candy basically looking like a guy to his wife. Well, we know that. Said she scared the shit out of him because of her appearance. And we've questioned that, the reasoning for the child with the shaved head. What is the truth? Because we now see that other children at the time of June 15th, they had hair on their heads. So why was Summer's head shaved? Why was she running around looking like a boy child? Very, very interesting. Don, why haven't you been hanging around any church people? And where are they? Which church friends do you actually have to date? And where are they? And why aren't your church friends speaking to the news and putting you and Candy in a positive light? Don't you all find that interesting? Except for Robin. And Robin, why are you hanging with these people and talking to them and dealing with them if you're a Christian woman and you are a professional woman, which means you would have to have a professional demeanor, because when I say professional, it means everything. Nice and neat, nice in the tongue, nice in the act and the walk. So I'm going to ask you again, what did you notice about Summer Wells that was not up to par? That was my father's favorite saying, up to par. What did you notice while being the Sabbath day teacher? See, I never talk bad about you in the church because I don't play those type of games. But I wait, and when I see something I don't like, then I will then mention it. So I now can say something's odd with you. I'm going to say you because your name's been the one thrown out. It's not your job to take care of Summer Wells or her brothers, but you are of the faith and in the church, so you still have to own your part, as they say, being a mandated reporter. So I'm going to ask you, Robin, why not say something? Did you say something? Because I'm not going to accuse you of saying you did this or did that. All I'm saying is, if we're noticing things as outsiders of Summer Wells and the brothers' appearances, what is it that you notice up close and personal? Because if I'm only looking at TikTok videos and saying, my God, what the hell's going on here? Then what did you actually see up close? What did you smell up close? And why are you in these people's peripheral when they have been acting a monkey's ass on social media? You don't sound very professional to me, because what type of lady would hang in the company of a woman that walks around without a brassiere, a woman who doesn't take care of her children, don't comb their hair, send them out looking any kind of way? You had to see their social media posts at some point. Come on with it, Queen. You don't get a pass now, because you had to be privy to something pertaining to these people before Summer went missing. But let me also say this to a lot of you. I meant to say this when I first started. Let me give you some demographics, some information pertaining to children. The standard 5-year-old is to be 39 inches to 48 inches in height. That's a boy or a girl. The normal weight is 34 to 50 pounds. Okay? And some of you have made mention of her posture in that last picture with the little girl. If we're to believe that was a recent picture of Summer Wells, she was hunched over. So what are we saying? Was she scared in the picture? Was she timid? What was the deal? Because she did seem to have a posture problem in that picture, or her posture looked a little bit distorted. So what happened? Did somebody say something to the baby? Had somebody frighten the child? What are we saying here? In one picture where Don is holding the child, she looks very tall. So I looked at her thinking she was older than 5. Perhaps she is a tall child because Don is a tall man, and she was to take Donald Wells' stature. I stay woke. I always stay woke. Don deflecting by mentioning Dudley in a bad manner. Why? You never mentioned his name, Don, in the beginning of this commentary of an abduction. You didn't mention Dudley's name because you knew he'd whoop your ass. Excuse my language. That's why you never said Dudley's name. You knew he'd bring the bang. And we'd be then talking about a missing white man out of Hollerville. Stay woke. You're lucky to be alive, sir, because all you do is keep up trouble and stir up mess on social media. And you have done this all your life, you and Candy. So I'm going to say this again in this live. I'm very stunned that you two are breathing. I believe Dudley would hurt you. He's made mention of that. When it comes to his family, he'll probably bring the bang. Now, we don't want Dudley to do anything felonious in nature to Mr. Wells. I prefer a firing squad, but you know, that's cruel and unusual punishment, says the law. Shut up, Queen. All the nasty comments of drug dealers in the area and Donald Wells, you're not a very bright man. You talk too much, especially for somebody that uses narcotics. We already know that the dope dealer don't like snitches. And right now, that is what you would be considered, a snitch. And even the white boys that sell dope can put you 6 feet under or tuck you away so nicely back there in the hollow. It was asked to Candy who would harm the child. And basically she said she didn't know of anybody, but yet Don could not wait to bring up Mr. Dudley's name as suspect number 1, day 1. Why is that? Because he was the obvious person that he had an altercation with pertaining to that money he owed him. So he threw this young man under the bus. Very dangerous of you, Mr. Wells. You've been walking a tightrope for some time. And you like walking the tightrope. I just hope you have a safety net when you fall off. Knowing about Jody Sue having drug traffic at her window. Peeping Tom, are we, Mr. Donald Wells? Do you like peeping in women's windows? Well, you know they say you have to have a start when you are a peeper. And peepers usually become sadists, such as rapists. Yes, I'm going to say that because I don't sugarcoat anything here. Has there been something going on between Jody Sue and Don? I'm going to say that. And this is not to disrespect Jody Sue, but I have to question everybody's motives in this storyline. Because at one moment, Jody Sue is talking about the scream as if in aiding the abduction theory. And now we're not hearing such nice things being said about Jody Sue from Don. So what is the deal and all this backbiting going on, backstabbing? Are you people friends or not friends? Please let the queen know. It doesn't really matter to me. It's more entertainment for the chat because I don't really get down with all that he said, she said stuff. Mr. Tucker, you are the man of the hour besides Mr. Dudley. Are you in cahoots with Mr. Donald Wells in felonious behavior? And that is why you have never fired him, and you know of him doing shady work in people's homes because you've told Donald to do a half-baked ass job. Ting. Stay woke. I always remember the person is pulling the strings is the obvious person, not the one that you think is pulling the strings. Stay woke. The puppet must have a puppet master. Indeed. Is Mr. Tucker that one? Dudley came to you, Mr. Tucker, telling you of this behavior by Mr. Wells. He wasn't treated fairly, and you waved him off, shook him off. Why? Because, like I said, are you in cahoots with him in doing half-baked jobs in people's homes? So how's that going to weigh with the people who have trusted you to do work? You're sending out people to do work in their homes. Have you had complaints? Are you registered in the Better Business Bureau as a good employer or not? I'd like to know. And I now know that some of you getting ready to go run over there to their site to see the ratings for Mr. Tucker's company, as you would, as you should. It's a part of the storyline now. Lord have mercy. Oh, Mr. Tucker, have you thoroughly verified that Donald Wells was at work on June 15th? Did you go about the job to see where he was? Or what is the protocol for your relationship and the work ethic of Mr. Wells and your employees? And how do you really do business as far as making sure that the work is done? Come on, Queen. Because if Don left and the boss knew, then you were aiding Mr. Wells in a crime. And then we'd have to ask ourselves, why would you do that? Desperate for help, doing shitty work, aiding a killer, baby seller. What are we saying here? Bring the queen a receipt. $1,500 in the hole you owe, Mr. Dudley, right? You're responsible for that money, Mr. Wells. Best you pay up or find yourself in a nasty, nasty position. Well, we wouldn't want that now, would we? They are not grieving parents, Don and Candy Bly. Oh, mercy, so many things to say. The issue of Rose coming into the picture. I don't know where this is going. You're entitled to believe what you want. If you think Don Wells is behind the disappearance of her, bring a receipt. But I do find it strange 2 people are missing directly connected to Candy Bly. Candy, did you orchestrate this because you knew people would put it together? Assume, well, there must be somebody got a vendetta against the Wells and the Blys. They killed her sister. They got her sister missing. Oh my God, now they've gone to Hollerville and taken her child, her girl child. Shut your mouth. Did you think about that before? Because, I do believe this is orchestrated. But as they say, there's always the possibility that this could be an abduction and a selling of a child. So I'm going to ask you again, Candy Bly, did you foresee and plan this because you knew people would talk and put together, assumingly, that this is a vendetta against your family? Stay woke. Writing stuff on the wall. Mr. Dudley denies all this. Mr. Wells sabotaging the house and allegedly admitting it thereafter. So once again, how are you still working for Mr. Tucker? Donald, you are a bad, bad boy. Only children do those type of things, writing on the wall. But that's an old saying. The writing is on the wall. It was a song. Go talk to Beyonce. The girl group that once was. The writing is on the wall. Indeed it is. Donald, you're a dirty bird. You don't play fair and you play wickedly, underhandedly. But you should know about those reindeer games can get your hand or paw cut off. Stay woke. Compulsive liars, both Candy and Don. So why would I believe your child was abducted on June 15th from that compound when you can't tell the truth about basic things? And what has been said in the street is the truth. If you lie about one thing, you'll lie about another. And if you lie about something mundane, come on, Queen, they ain't ready. You'll lie about something great, greater than. And that is a whole body being missing. Come on with it. So you're entitled to your opinion. If you believe this is abduction, the Masons did it, the Illuminati did it, hell, Biden did it. Come on with it. Y'all like to get ignorant. I get ignorant too. Who did it? But what's the motive? Taking a child that looks like a boy. Stay woke. I'm woke. I've been woke. And you continue to let Donald work for you knowing he's scrutiny for being involved. How do you feel about it now, Mr. Tucker? That you've been letting a man work for you that possibly has aided the disappearance of his child. And God forbid if we find out the worst of Mr. Donald Wells and Candy Bly, that they have done something to Summer. How are you going to sleep at night knowing you let this man come into your peripheral and under your namesake, and continue to work for you? My. You might sleep all right because we really don't know who you are. And that's to throw no shade, but your name has been introduced into this madness. So we're touching all points of the storyline. $300 or $1,800 beat the you know what out of Don Wells. I said that. Once again, Don Juan, you're lucky to be alive. I don't think you'd be around my parts owing that kind of money. You would have already had an accident. You would have already lost a paw or two. Just saying. Suspects, the parents, passed a lie detector test, yet you have not been cleared by TBI. Why is that? Are you two empty vessels that are sadists and you are good liars, and that is why you passed the lie detector test, which we already know won't be admitted in court. It's not viable evidence, so it doesn't even really matter. They need something tangible to bring you and Candy in for the disappearance of the child. But are we really talking about people who lie so damn well that they could pass a damn lie detector test? Oh, Lord, have mercy. Somebody help me. I need a church fan. Lord Jesus. What were you doing on that toilet when he saw you looking at that phone? Don. That's our new name for Donald. Don. We're going to get street with it because they act like they're from the streets. So we're going to treat them as street people. Don. What were you thinking about on that toilet? You like toilet seats, I believe. I believe you do your best thinking when you're sitting downtown. But you see, there's a little place they have for people like you. You know it. You've been there before. That's all you're going to damn have is a cot and a toilet and a sink. 6x9, your favorite place. You keep on playing these games. It's going to be a toilet and a sink and a cot and or a bunk bed for you and Bubba. You're very sad to me. Well, CPS coming to the house. This is what Mr. Dudley was saying. You playing possum, staying at work late, hiding out. Woo, my. Because, you know, the Queen was debunking all these theories of CPS coming because I told myself it made no sense to knock off a child or get rid of a child because CPS is coming, because that means you're going to be suspect number one if indeed CPS is on their way. So what fool would logically get rid of their kid knowing CPS is coming? But then we're talking about two dodo birds from Hollerville. They're this stupid, perhaps, to go ahead and get rid of their child knowing CPS was coming. Are you and Candy this stupid that you would get rid of your child Hide her? You say he's hiding her? Well, who has her? Who has her, dear? And who's going to just keep the child hidden? Do you know what would happen if you are found with Summer Wells? How are you going to explain to the FBI what you're doing with a child? An Amber Alert. Stay woke. And Earhart has already told you it's very rare that they don't have something on a child abduction within a couple of days. Stay woke. Parents not removed as suspects. Stay woke. Stealing mud. Oh, my. Have we resorted to such tactics, Don? Now, Don, now you know better. So much for stealing a lawnmower and a weed eater. Damn, you can't make this stuff up. So, Mr. Tucker, what you gonna say now about them buckets of mud on the property at the compound? I can't say. Please stop. Somebody help me. I'm drowning up here. Woo-hoo-hoo. Oh, Lord. Yes, pay by the job, not by the hour. Best to work for a legitimate company where you clock in and clock out. You get benefits. 401. Ting, ting, ting. Dudley, I'm going to pray that you are happy where you are and you never see the likes of Don Juan unless it's to get your money and Mr. Tucker. Because we have people who are swindlers. And that this is what I believe is going on. Mr. Tucker may not be on the up and up. If he wants to come forward and clear his name, best you do so. Because now you're in the loop. And mind you, in this commentary that was played by Sweetie Pie Low, Mr. Dudley says he's been cleared by TBI. Amen. Whew. He talked to Mr. Tucker to no avail. They didn't believe him. They ignored him. And they weighed in on the side of Mr. Donald Wells. Seniority rules, I guess. Yet look at Don now. So who is the biggest loser right now? Thank you. Smoking weed on the job with his children. That's a crime. Don, you know better. The hell's wrong with you? Mr. Dudley lets us know he is not an addict and would kindly take a drug test to clear himself. And he also, like I said, has been cleared by the TBI, but he will go to jail if some hanky-panky jumps off about his family. Amen. A man has a right to protect his own. Woo. Jesus, somebody help me. Can you imagine all the calls and tips that have come in about these two nuts? And the way he talked about Candy when he first saw her, the comments from Miss Linda, thinking Summer was a boy. What I've already told you. If I was an abductor that never knew these people and I'm stalking them, would I be looking at the child as a girl? I'm into boys. She's outside playing in regular clothes. Stay woke. Sex trafficking. Bad dreams. Mr. Wells going to prison. What's wrong, Don? What's the matter, baby? Come on, talk to big girl. I'm good at listening at bullshit. I listen at bullshit every day. So enlighten me. What the matter, as we say in the street? And I know y'all be like, ain't you cut that out up there. I can't. It's the new year. I'm feeling mighty, mighty fine. What the matter with it, Don? What they do to Don? Oh, Don gonna be mad. Cause Dudley done came up out of the cupboards. Ooh, Don, you mad as hell, ain't you? Lord have mercy. I gotta get some popcorn because I know you two gonna be jumping a little bit later. Shut your mouth. Woo! 2 hours in, and I can't even get the link dropped. It's too much foolishness. All right, where am I at now? Sex trafficking, perhaps? I don't know. Bad dreams, going to prison, beating his children. Why you beating your children? Why you beating your wife? Now, what if they decided they turned on you and beat your ass, Donna? Because you deserve a good whooping. Yes, you is. Were they rambunctious while you were beating your kids? You've been talking to Jacqueline and Giselle West from the Cal City? Maybe you all are friends. Hell, somebody do some digging. See if they're Facebook friends. The children were rambunctious. I was beating them. Is that why that baby girl was slumped over in that picture? Come on with it, Queen. You people are sick. You're very sick. Just look at yourselves. You need to take a good look at yourselves. Oh, Lord have mercy. Mercy, mercy. Speeding around, trying to lead this man on goose chases for a job. I guess so you wouldn't have to pay the damn man. You're really a sick dude. No work on Sundays because of the religion. First day, duped the guy. As I said, I would have kept it moving, Dudley. You should have left Donald Wells alone. First time you got your money and it was short. Should have just kept it moving. Because as I said, Donald Wells is lucky to be alive for these reindeer games he's been playing, cheating people out of their money. And as the old saying goes, and for Mr. Dr. Phil, you teach people how to treat you. So this is why Don has been doing the things he's been doing, because he's been afforded the opportunity to be a bamboozler, hoodwinker. As AB says, he's acting like a crackhead. Show your rights. Crackhead times 20. Meth, heroin, whatever the hell they taking down there in the holler. I wish the hell I would get a dope deal of my money. Honey, Queen rather have a pair of shoes than a crack rock. No, thank you. Woo! Lord Jesus. Don, you must pay your workers for the job, not by the hour. Nobody's working for free, honey. It's 2022 now. Are you still working for Mr. Tucker? I'm just curious. As I said, interesting information. Monday before summer goes missing, you're sitting on the toilet looking like you lost your best friend. What were you doing with that phone, honey? What were you looking at? Was this the message for the orchestrating of getting the baby gone? Who sent you a message? Was it Candy? Was it the dope dealer? The dark web? Some sinister, creepy crawlies? What happened to Summer? Did you orchestrate the disappearance with some outsiders alongside your wife, sir? Where is this baby? Can we put an end to the charades? I mean, really, enough's enough. Woo! AB mentions about Grandis being a likely candidate for the trafficking ring. AB, I'm curious. Why you say that? Interesting comment. Dudley believes everything's linked to the swimming hole and that backseat video photograph circulating on social media. He also talks about the walkboard, which we call the scaffolding. Yes, your house a mess, property's a mess, careless with your kids, yet you're making a substantial amount of money every week to provide for your children and yourself, Mr. Wells. Why are you living like that on the compound? Nasty. Children nasty, running outside half naked. Children without clothes on. Summer without a top on. You know damn better. See, I'd like to whoop your ass myself. I'd like to whoop you royally. As they say, shit, beat him till he bleed. Maybe then you'll confess to what you did to that baby. Mr. Dudley makes mention he never did meth with Mr. Wells. You was coming and going, Mr. Wells, claimed by Dudley. 20 minutes, come back, zoom. What were you doing? Getting high on the job? Hell, why not? You're giving your child marijuana. What a poor example of a father. You don't even let your children get 18 before you puff pass. Come on now. You're nasty. You're a nasty, vile creature. He said he does alcohol and anything he can get his hands on. And he does admit to smoking weed with Mr. Wells. I had to smoke to tolerate Donald. I'm kind of been thinking about myself smoking to tolerate being doing these lives because I'm tired of talking about these fools. I should have been going to the weed dealer myself after all this shenanigans going on. Excuse that for the good Christians in the group listening. Pardon my manners. Running out in their underwear, the children. Jesus have mercy. Dudley says people don't know the real Donald Wells. Well, guess what, Dudley? We do now. We do now. He says that Don blames his actions, beating his children and wife, on alcohol. And Mr. Dudley makes mention that all the shenanigans with not paying him his money has ruined his life, throwing his, innuendos about him out to social media, ripping him off his money. And he will not go around Donald Wells again. See, this is why Don never mentioned Dudley's name. He's scared of he's scared of Dudley. Excuse me, Dudley Ray. He's afraid of him. That's why he never mentioned his name in the beginning. He knows better. So, Don, a good point was mentioned by Dudley. If you think that this man stole your child, why haven't you confronted him? You know this man hasn't done anything to your child. He was just an easy scapegoat because he was the last person you had an altercation with, so you decided to use him as a poor excuse and ruin this man, having this man being chased by TBI. And as you heard in this commentary, TBI went to the man's father's house, who lives in Churchill, but Mr. Dudley lives in Virginia. So naturally, he got wind that TBI was looking for him. He went and settled up with TBI about the business of he and Don and has been cleared. But you can imagine his father being probably scared shitless. TBI at the door asking about his son, wondering what in the hell's going on here. Do you see what happens when you fool with foolishness? You get wrapped up in trauma. I keep telling people, be very careful the people you fool with. Because working for Donald Wells led to the TBI going to the man's house, his father's house first, and then to him. You see, this is what happens. It's crazy. We got to mention a CPS coming. What's the truth? What's going to happen? Is there going to be a rebuttal from Don, Mr. Tucker, on Dudley's account of these events? Who else is getting ready to join this $2 circus act of testimony? It's very sad that it's gotten to this point, but the gist of the story is that the children never had a chance. And there's a connection to all these cases with CPS, news stories. It is the parents. They are vile misfits who did not need to procreate. Why did you procreate? Only God knows why. Very sad. What is the truth about CPS's involvement with the Wells before Summer went missing? Dudley does say that he believes that Candy and Boy H has some type of entanglement. God, I hope not. The fighting at the job site, I found that very baffling. Candy and Gran. What the hell were you all doing going to that man's job, fighting about what? See, this is what leads me to believe that Grandus, you are involved in the disappearance as well, because we now, if we're to believe Dudley's account of these events at the job site where Don worked, you're the right fighter for Candace. You're the ringleader for Candace. You're the go-to person for Candace. When things aren't right between she and Don, she goes to you and you bring the bang, such as that mess that happened with Jose. It was a 4-ring circus. Ting, ting, ting. Everybody tussling over Jose. What the hell does Jose know? But let Candy tell it. He likes boys. Let me get this right. females with private parts. Damn, you can't make this stuff up. Grandis, what do you know? Because I believe you've been fighting Candy's battles for a long time with Don. And Don is possibly scared of Grandis. Hell, Grandis look like a damn man. Come on, let's keep it real. Have you seen what Grandis looks like from behind? You all watched the videos on YouTube of Grandis walking, talking about the disappearance of Rose? She looks like a guy. So, hell, she probably just as tall as Don. He ain't trying to fight that man. Y'all better stay woke. Yes, they all talk too much. That's her right fighter, Grandis. And I do believe that if I'm to believe what Dudley has said in this commentary, that he's confirmed that Grandis rode the ride with Candace Bly on June 15th. What's your part, Grandis? What do you know about the disappearance of your daughter, Rose? What do you know? What do you know about your daughter's disappearance, and what do you know about Summer's disappearance? Because what I have to tell myself, if you aided Candace in this crime, Summer Wells, then there's no way I can believe that you were ever genuine about your feelings for Rose Bly. And what's the competition between Rose and Candy? Because see, this is where all the he said, she said comes in. We really don't know who liked who favored whom, who did what to whom, who slept with whom's husband. You're never going to know that stuff. Because the dead don't tell no tales. And if I'm to believe Rose is dead, you can't get her version. 2, Candy's never going to tell you the truth. 3, Grandis isn't going to tell you the truth. 4, Don Wells isn't going to tell you the truth. So all you're doing is speculating. But there's something off with all these parties involved. So, Don, if you were home, did you beat your daughter to death and you covered it up? Because remember what you said on that drive when you were being interviewed by somebody, or what happened on the 15th on your way home? You said we turned on to such and such road. Who is we? When it was just you returning from Jonesboro alone. You caught yourself and you said, I. Bingo card number 1015. You said we. We turned. And then you caught yourself and said, I. Such as you catching yourself using past tense in speaking of your daughter 12 days after her disappearance. How convenient. Or was it you giving us truth serum that you've been known what happened to Summer, and you know she's not coming back alive, that is. Convenient that a sister is missing and now Summer, same family, direct person is Candace. Is there a connection? Candy said she was between places, Arkansas and Wisconsin. As I said, bring a receipt to prove otherwise. I still believe that Rose's husband murdered her due to the rest of Rose, domestic violence on her part, threats from him. And then he filed for custody of the said children 2 weeks after Rose went missing. Very telling indeed. The wife said she was tired of listening to her husband, Mr. Dudley, speak of Dodge. It was starting to stress Dudley out. But as you see, if you were to believe Mr. Dudley and his account of his dealings with Mr. Don, which was a very short period, Don likes to play games. He's a game player. And think about it as, hey, if he plays these types of games with a person and their money and their livelihood for work, he'd be the same person to play games with getting a child missing and play the same games with the news, TBI, YouTube. Stay woke. What did I tell you? If you do one thing, you'll do another. Now, they say a liar does not mean that you will become a murderer. But we also know that most murderers and sadists, they are liars. Most rapists, they are liars. So, what is the common denominator of a sadist? they're going to have to become a liar at some point. If a person lies, cheats, manipulates, steals, what else are they capable of? But as I said, all liars aren't murderers. All thieves aren't murderers. But how long can you continue to do all of the above? What will be the next step? You can only lie so long, cheat so long, manipulate so long. And sometimes those traits do lead to murder. So, Don, who is your alibi? Did you go to work alone on June 15th? Did you work up until about 5 o'clock? You said it takes about an hour to get from Jonesboro to Rogersville. But we've got another witness, I believe it was a Jenna, saying you were home a little early. Well, what is the truth? Did you work alone or with somebody else? Who are the 7 witnesses? Would the 7 witnesses please come forward? Did your boss see you before you closed at that last destination? Where were you exactly? A building, a house, a shed, a barn? What were you doing? Who worked with you on that job site? Let's say that. Where is the job site? Who was at the job site with Donald Wells on June 15th? And what time did you return home, Donald? Did all 3, Grandis, Candace, and Donald Wells, orchestrate the disappearance of Summer Wells, or did somebody jump in after Candy did something to the child? Are we now saying what? All 3 are involved. It was an orchestrated crime, selling of the child, bartering of the child. 2, Candy did something to the child deliberately or accident, and then she went in to ask her mother and husband to aid her in this crime. Dudley says he can't stand him, quote unquote. I bet Dudley and his wife sleeps a whole lot better at night than Don and Candy. How much you want to bet? She said it's like a horror movie going back there in the holler, Miss Linda. When she saw Candy for the first time, her eyes were so dark. See, this is what you all need to understand about Tennessee, East Tennessee. It is a different way of living here. They are used to Louisiana, which is flat land. That is flat land, Louisiana versus Tennessee, East Tennessee. It is night versus day. It would be creepy here. It is a beautiful place, but yes, it is creepy because we have full trees and mountains, hills, winding roads, gravel, obscurity. You can hide a multitude of sins out here. Stay woke. Kids dirty, no clothes, summer, no shirt, bald head, shaved head. The hills have eyes indeed. Dudley had to tell his wife that Summer was a girl when the wife first saw Summer. She told him she should go back and take a picture of how she looked, that they were lying, misleading the public, TBI, by uploading that picture of the child with the red hair bow and a red dress on. Why did you all upload that picture, Candy and Don? Are you hiding something? Is this a redo of Cow City? What are we saying? Something very off about you giving that picture to TBI when you knew damn well that it's not how Summer looked when you last saw her. See, the gist of the story is that people live like this every day. You don't know until it makes the 6 o'clock evening news, sadly. They made good money, yet they chose to live like this. Why? Because they are druggies and drunks. This is why he can afford a new truck. Stay woke. But yet you can't put registration, tags, and insurance on your older truck bingo card because it's a choice. You take your money and do what you want to do with it. My daddy always told me that. People do what they want, and they spend their money on what they want. You see, Candy knows about the income guidelines dealing with the state and money and food stamps. And she knows not to ever put Don on anything as not to mess with her Social Security check if indeed she gets a check. And 9 times out of 10, she ain't worked long enough. She's getting a check because she's mentally disturbed. She gets an SSI check. So what's wrong with her? She knows not to ever mention Donald Wells on any of her personal business. Indeed, Summer and the boys did not have a chance. So we're going to pray for Summer and her brothers. It was mentioned in this commentary that they are mean, they are evil. But what I'd say to you is that they're all fluff, all talk. Walk up on both of them, Don and Candy, and they will fold. Why don't they have real friends? Like minds don't last long. Stay woke. Do TBI and LE, Hawkins County Sheriff Department, believe Don and Candy's version of June 15th? Probably not. They know. And as Dudley says, they're just giving them enough rope to hang themselves. And possibly that is the reason why Don didn't get to stay in jail on the violation with the DUI charge. We're going to let this fool walk because he's been making a mockery out of himself, him and Candy. We're just going to keep letting them walk around thinking we're on their side. But indeed, we know they're guilty of getting that baby girl gone. Don, are you jealous of Mr. Dudley Ray? Is this what all this confusion was about with him? You were jealous? He knew his job. He did a good job. Because as I told people, if we were anywhere else and Don shorted somebody that amount of money, even less, Don will be dead. Cash is king. Stay woke. Don, you told TBI about Ray as a suspect. They went to that man's home, father's home. You knew what you were doing. Bait. You used Dudley Ray as pure bait. Oh, Lord. And I was hoping he didn't know his actual address, but we later found out that they did have a meetup. He had his neighbor as a witness. Nothing ever came from it. No violence. But he just would not give the man the whole $1,500. You see, you're better than me, Mr. Dudley Ray. Because you should have shook his damn collarbone and got all your damn money. As Miss Sweetie Pie says at the end of this commentary, keep the drama to a minimum. How in the hell they gonna do that, sweetheart? The cat's been out of the bag, and it jumped in 1,001 times, and it keeps jumping out with more kitty cats. This story is a bust. It's out of control. The bus Ben went over the mountain. Come on, let's keep it real. How many more people are going to pop up out of this clown car to speak on Don and Candy? How many more people are going to fuel the flames of this story? When is this story going to end? Don and Candy are the only ones who are not living their best lives. And that's the spoken word. Thank you for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. If you want to donate to the channel, $DeGanji 129 Cash App. Thank you all so much. Wow. What a story. I can't believe I read all that. One minute, please. Thank you for joining me. Woo. As we say in church, there's a leak in this old building. My goodness gracious. Never seen such sickness in all my life. But as I said, with all these stories, the common denominator is These people here. All these stories are the same. They're all the same because of the people involved. That's the problem. I can't get my bearings together. Hold on one second. That's the problem. That's why you're hearing all these crazy things about these children missing and children being abused and found dead. It's the parents. They're just grimy. The race doesn't matter. Economic status doesn't matter. They're all the same. Just a bunch of misfits raising kids. It's sad to me. Very, very sad to me. Hold on one second, you guys. I cannot get this thing right for some reason. Oh, Lordy. Yeah, very selfish, very broken, yes. Hurt people, as Dr. Phil would say. That's the truth. And you get high with your children, you don't make a mind. He also made a mention of that too. So much he said, trying to remember everything. Kids don't mind. Why would your child mind? You're getting high with your child. Your child, he doesn't respect you. You don't bathe them. They're not bathed. They're not clean. They're walking around looking at you all with potty mouths, nasty, getting high, drinking. God knows the people you had in their peripheral. What message were you sending to your children? And then you got the nerve to sit up and say they don't listen. So what? You're going to beat them to death because they're not listening? Yeah, that's smart. You're not a proper role model. You know, you're the type of people that let your children run out in the street, and then when they get hit by a car, they're bleeding to death, and you're telling the child, well, look at you. You're all beat up, banged up. But you allowed them to play in the street. You people are sick. There's just no hope for you. None. Thanks for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. 336 in the house. Amen. Thank you all. Thank you, Nay. Hit the link if you want to give your opinion. I'm going to try to keep it brief because I'm already at 2:27. Thank you all so much. Did not mean for it to go that long, but I had a lot to read back from everything that was said in the commentary with Mr. Dudley, and I didn't want to talk too much in between pausing the video. So thank you. Jody Sue cannot say all she knows. And why is that? It's too late now. Once you start opening your mouth, can't go back. I mean, whether it's the truth or not, once you open your mouth, that's it. Thank you, Rabbit. Thank you all so much for joining me. All new subscribers. Amen. Outlaw, you done left off everything on the stream. Oh my God. You were just up here. Oh my goodness, great. Miss Bruma, drop the link again, please. Thank you all so much for joining me. How do you know she told TBI the rest? Why tell part of a story to social media and then don't tell everything? That makes no sense. If you want to be credible, tell the whole truth. Because leaving out bits and pieces will not make you credible. That's why sometimes it's best just don't say anything. Frankly, I do agree with Duty Ron on certain things he has said about this whole YouTube situation and people testifying before YouTubers. Really, as a potential witness, you have no business talking to anybody outside of law enforcement. That's common sense. Because if this ever is to go to court, their attorneys will chew you alive. Because they're going to find every dirty thing they can find out about you. And they're going to bring all that up in court. And then they're going to chop up and dismantle everything you have ever said to a YouTuber, your neighbor, messages in your phone, anything. You got to use common sense. This is not a game. That's why a lot of things, cases have been thrown out because of gossip and he said, she said, and people were not deemed reliable. They're past. If they've been to prison, if they've been to jail, crimes they've committed. You all got to think. So you're only thinking about what they're saying on YouTube. It's bigger than this in the end because there has to be a court proceedings. And with everybody jumping on YouTube talking and talking and talking, it will be a fine mess when it's time to go to court. If these people are indeed guilty. This is why law enforcement tells you, don't talk to anybody. There's a reason for them saying that. Because you are actually hurting the case by talking to outsiders publicly. You can't even just whisper it to somebody. Well, let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you what was said. Because you don't know who they're going to go tell. Come on now. Yes, it'll be much harder to get a conviction if all possible because everyone's speaking on YouTube. Yes, that's just common sense. This is not the place for that. You know, it's not the place to be talking to random people about anything because you don't know where this case is going to go. And if it actually makes it to a courtroom, you're going to be called into court to repeat everything that you said. And God forbid you say something that is not in direct line of what you told law enforcement, because naturally they've videotaped and recorded you. Then you got to count the stuff you said to people on social media. You better hope that everything you said to law enforcement is identical to what you told a damn YouTuber. Come on now. YouTube is not the law. These are not police officers. They're not detectives. They don't work with the state police. They don't work with the local Bureau of Investigation or FBI. You're talking to people who are not proficient in law enforcement. And all this bullshit that people are running on this YouTube like they're real investigators, and because you went on the ground, that does not make you an investigator because you went somewhere and asked somebody a damn question. You're not an investigator. And I'm really kind of sick of hearing the conversation about these people. Because I think a lot of you got to decide yourself, and that's what makes some of you not genuine, because you act like your shit don't stink, and you act like you're real detectives when this is not a game. This is serious business. This child is missing, and she could be possibly dead. And all this old fluff trying to, toot yourself and make yourself seem so self-important about what you're doing, what you brought to a case. Well, what have you done? Because let me enlighten some of you in the chat. There are people in Tennessee right now that don't even know who Summer Wells is. Let me make that clear. I've asked many people in conversation, have they heard of Summer Wells? I asked somebody last night. They just looked at me. They live right here, 1 hour from her, and don't even know she's missing. Don't even know that there was an Amber Alert. Some don't care. Some don't watch the news. Many people don't watch the news. Same thing with Cal City. Many people said publicly they had never heard of the 2 boys missing in California. So that should tell you that in many states, people do not know of children missing in their state. And some don't care to know or put themselves in the peripheral of reading the said information because, there's so much going on in the media with crime, missing people. People pick and choose what they want to indulge in. But there are people right here in East Tennessee, they are not engaged in the story. Number 1, they don't care for the story. Okay? No, that's number 2. Number 3, they don't watch YouTube. Oops, did you hear that part? They don't watch YouTube, so they don't give a damn about any story, especially playing out on YouTube. And that's just a fact. And many people don't even know of the story of any of these cases except for hearing it on YouTube and going in the queue and seeing somebody talk about it on their channel, and they're just curious and they open it up. Hello, trucker.
Evening, Queen. How you doing
I'm
tonight?
good. What's going on?
Oh, not a whole lot. I thought I'd join you.
Well,
I thought I'd join you.
I was winded. It's a lot to bring. That's why I hate listening to interviews, because even though that's not a long interview, but to chop it all up and bring it back in a timely fashion is very hard to do.
That it is. It takes a lot of time to go over
Yeah,
it.
it's time consuming. Well, give me your opinion.
Yeah, like we've been going over. I mean, yeah, they are guilty, but it just when it's going to come to light to nail them. I mean, it's hard to say anymore now. Oh, where'd you go, Queen? Oh, never mind.
I was asking you. You do this every time you come up here like you're scared to talk.
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean,
I need you to give me your opinion pertaining to what Dudley Ray and Miss Linda had to say about Donna Wells in that interview. I let you talk. I'm trying to put some socks on my feet. I'm cold.
oh, yeah, I'm sorry about
Oh,
that.
it's cold here. Go ahead.
I know you don't like cold coffee or anything like that, so.
No, I said my feet are cold. That's why I was doing to give me some socks.
Oh, okay.
Give me your opinion to what he said.
I did listen to Dudley. He did have some good grounds and some good facts, but is Don a subcontractor to Tucker Drywall? And if he was, depending on the contract how it was drawn up, all materials that Don has to provide and buy, yeah, it could show that he ain't stealing his own material from Tucker. But if the contract is drawn up to where he was hired through them and do the payroll and all that, and where the Tucker Drywall was paying all materials for him, then yeah, they could consider him as a thief if he has the materials on his property. But
and the other things he said.
some of the things, if he has pictures and some video and audio to prove some of that, yeah, then Dudley's got him nailed to the wall.
Well, I'm wondering what's going to happen now with Mr. Tucker.
Well, now Tucker Drywall, his whole entire company's on the line now. For sure.
Okay, Catherine has a point. Again, assuming that this was pre-planned, he didn't want that guy around on June 15th, so he fired him on the 14th. Exactly. That's a very good point, Catherine. Because if this is orchestrated, which I think it is, that's just my opinion, could be wrong. I don't need this guy around looking and lurking at nothing.
And being snoopy and nosy and all that.
Yeah, that's right. Because he may make comments about, well, why are you leaving this time? And da-da-da-da-da. And he knew that they would come to him and ask him, because Mr. Tucker would know who was working with him at which time. So he would be a potential witness. Bingo card 1020.
He is actually a potential witness if he's got all the evidence.
Yeah, but if he worked with him, but if he worked with him on that day, he definitely knew TBI would come looking to talk to that guy.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. Somebody says using him as a pawn. Well, sadly, Dudley had a lot of patience, because I don't have that kind of patience when it comes to doing jobs for cash money. I've done a lot of my work with cash money, and I don't play about my money. You don't have my money, don't even dial my damn phone number. Don't call it back. You will not get an answer. I will not respond. I don't play those kind of games with people. See,
well, yeah, especially on the first paycheck, and he held with some money out of it, short me.
This is how I deal with people every day. Let me tell you something. If I meet you cordially, I deal with it just like it's business. You get to talking crazy, acting crazy, it's only going to be a short while. I cut you off at the foot. If I decide to continue talking to you, it's only going to be a matter of time. You will not be talking to Angela. I can tell you that now. And if it come to money, oh yeah, you need not never dial my phone number. because I'm not getting ready to go stand on my feet and do nothing for free. And that's why I said Donald is lucky to be alive. Because if it was anybody else that had nothing to lose, they would have beat him to the white meat. And that's what people don't understand. There are people out here who just as easily would kill a child, would also beat the hell out of Donald Wells about their damn money. Rabbit says he needs, hold on, let me read that comment. Hold on. I got to go back up. Lord, I got 1,001 messages. Jesus Christ. Hold on, wait.
Yeah, no, especially when they start flying.
Rabbit says he needed to be alone at the work site that day, and he knew the plan the day before. He was looking at his phone like he lost his best friends. Yes, that's why I'm starting to look. Yes, orchestrated. Yes, exactly. I don't need this guy around because when I get ready to make my exit, I don't need nobody questioning me. Where am I going? When am I coming back? Because all they're going to do is go back and tell law enforcement when I left, how I was looking, what color shoes I had on. Bingo card. Exactly. Very good point. Thank you, Nate. Yes, all roads lead to the wells. Exactly.
Yeah, it does.
His son didn't in hell. Lance, now are you really going to be talk that crazy in my chat?
But we don't know if he did or not, okay? We don't have no facts.
No, don't say that. Come on, you're too old for that. You're too old for that. Don't say that. Because it's bad enough that the man admitted he gave the man or the child weed. I'm not going to sit here and argue about if a child inhaled or exhaled. I don't play them kind of games. That's the farthest thing from my mind. Who inhaled? This is not a Bill Clinton story. Stay woke. Come on now. Don't do that.
Bring the facts to show us that if he did. Bring pictures, evidence.
It's irrelevant.
I know it's irrelevant.
It's just like saying he gave him some alcohol, but he didn't get drunk. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's not important. It's the principle. You gave your child an illegal drug.
And can be charged. If caught.
Jesus Christ. Well, what do you think about the CPS? Okay, we know about him jipping the man about the money. Okay, we got the allegations about the children, how they were looking. We'll get to that in a minute. Lord, I lost my train of thought. Jesus.
In this case, you can.
Oh, my God. Oh, Lord. Hello, Amy. What was I saying? Because I don't forgot.
The rumor.
CPS coming. Do you believe CPS was involved before Summer went missing? Let's tackle that.
About the CPS?
Yes.
Yeah. The facts are leading now that they were involved. How deeply, we're not sure, but they were involved.
Okay. The way the children were looking, first time Miss Linda was taken out to the property by Dudley Ray, when she thought Summer was a boy. How jacked up is that?
That is jacked up.
Lord.
And if you put Summer with the middle boy, they almost look identical.
Yes. Callahan, right. It's strange they would leave the boys home alone with DCF coming. This is the point I've been trying to make to everybody that keeps saying that CPS was involved. I keep trying to tell everybody, you've got to make this make some kind of sense. Now, although we're dealing with two buffoons, so that's probably a comment that should be possibly thrown out of the window. But I'm going to say this because you have to think logically. Why am I going to keep avoiding CPS, knowing somebody eventually has to be at that house? They can issue a warrant to come in the house. Come on, stay woke. 2, getting a child gone when they are expected to come to the house. How stupid is that? You're going to be suspect number 1. You can't actually think they're going to believe the child just went missing in the middle of nowhere. No. And I don't think law enforcement believes that. I don't.
Well, here's a good fact. for everybody to take on and turn around and start digging is that follow the money trail. Not only that, if you were in their shoes, why would you go out and you know CPS is involved? Why go out there and try to hide your kids and turn around and come back and call the law for to put heat on you, saying that they've been kidnapped and abducted and put heat on yourself when all you're doing is just trying to hide kids from CPS?
Yeah.
Why would you do that? Stay woke, people.
Yeah, see, none of that makes any sense to me. Yes, Anna says if CPS was involved, those children would have been gone. Yes, because that means you're saying that the state allowed these people to keep their children 6 weeks after the fact, knowing they've been investigating them. I'm investigating you for whatever reason. You did call and say your child is missing, and then I'm going to let 3 boys still stay in your care. Like Dudley Ron said about Cal City, they took those remaining 4 for a reason, and 9 times out of 10, it's because of that the 2 boys were missing. I'm not going to leave 4 with you and 2's missing. Hell, if they did it on that reason alone, not just necessarily what they found in the house on the day they went to check the house about the children missing, just hell, how you get 2 gone and 4 left behind? So this is a janky story, because now we have to wonder, what role did CPS not play if we're to believe Dudley Ray and all the rumors of CPS and leaked documents and blah blah blah? Okay, now we're at they failed the children. They failed Summer. They failed those boys. Luckily, the boys are alive. Amen. And as I've read to you commentary about the narcissistic mother, she will also turn on her boy children, favorite or not. The mind is diabolical. And if you can knock off one child, sell a child, you can also do the same for your other children. Jesus, this is sick. Man, I don't know what to say.
It is sick. I mean, there was a lot of possibility,
Yes.
a lot of favoritism in the CPS department.
Yes,
Did they
right.
grow up, or did they actually know people?
They will be wondering, where is Summer? Ding, ding, ding. You come to the door. Oh, yes, we're here to see all your children. Oh, well, oh, my daughter's missing. Come on now. If they thought that was going to prolong the state watching them, investigating them further, you'd have to be an utter fool to get your whole child missing before these people allegedly are supposed to come show up at your house. You thought what? Everything's going to stop because Summer was missing? Well, you are a fool if that's true. Let's just say that for the record. You are an utter fool and need to have your damn head examined.
And they will come unannounced, and they will have a law when they're ready to take the children down by state.
Of course they come unannounced. That's why people don't open the door. If I know you're coming, that's why I keep trying to tell people, think before you speak. If I know you're coming, why the hell am I not going to let you in? I've already agreed that you're coming. You called me, you wrote me a letter. I know you're coming. So I'm not going to let you in. Does that make any sense?
That's right.
So you should know common sense. If I try reaching out to you, you don't respond, I'm going to bring the sheriff. As in the case here in Knoxville, where the woman had the babies that drowned in the swimming pool. She was running an illegal daycare. She had been warned before that she had too many children in her care. And then 2 little toddlers or whatever were found drowned in the pool. Okay, so common sense to tell you, ding, ding, ding. When they came, she had no choice but to pop that damn door open once she saw the guys in blue. Oh, she opened that damn door because she already knew if I don't, they'll push that bad boy open.
Yeah, they're going to blow that door open.
That's right. That's what the sheriff is for. Oh, my God. This is just sick, man. Lord have mercy. And that bothers me now that if CPS was involved, that they allowed the boys to stay 6 weeks later. I have a problem with that. I have a mad problem, beef, if this is the truth, that they were involved before the 15th of June.
I still believe they were, Queen, at least 6 months to 8 months advance, because look at all the kids when the 3 boys went to school. in the church, and people were trying
Yes,
to get
amazing.
and all that.
Yes. Let me address amazing. I highly doubt CPS tells you when they're coming to take your kids. Exactly. I don't see them doing that either.
I gotta believe there is a lot of reports that were called in.
I do not believe the state is going to send me a direct line. Oh yeah, I'm coming to take your kids on this day. No, I don't believe that either. No. Why would I do that? You could run anything. Go underground with your kids. You understand what I'm saying? I don't think they would tell them.
But I gotta believe that there was also an incident.
Starting out, I think starting out they may have talked to them and said, we're going to come by on this day. But I think after numerous phone calls, not answering doors, phone calls, visits, emails, however, oh yeah, I'm showing up with the sheriff and I ain't giving you no notice. No. Not giving you no notice.
No warnings, no notes, no nothing. They're just going to come.
I don't see that. Not after so many times of trying to contact you and you're not responding. What is the purpose of me to keep trying to call you? Because that's what everybody needs to understand. If I've been calling you and reaching out to you by mail, phone, you don't respond, you're not going to know when I'm coming anyway because you're not responding. I just tell people, think about what you're saying. Lord have mercy. This case makes my ass itch. Okay, they were not coming that day because it was 6 p.m. and they had not shown up. Well, Heather, they're saying they were supposed to be coming the next day on the 16th. But, I don't like all that he said, she said stuff because I tell people, bring me a receipt. Because either way, if they were coming or not, they still let the children stay in their care. God, what is everybody missing about that? The kids still remain in their care.
Yeah.
So why am I investigating you, but still let your boys stay at the house? And if it's something about Summer, I'm sure as hell ain't gonna let the kids stay there because you got one missing.
Yeah, and not only that, and as a child didn't even know what was coming on her. And she just was along for the ride and bam, now she's gone in their care. Something's wrong with this picture.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Oh, Lord. Y'all are still talking in circles in the chat.
I know they are.
Talk. What does cleaning the house and any of that have to do with getting a whole child missing and these people are allegedly coming and they've given you notice that they're coming? Logically, why would I get rid of my child knowing the CPS is coming? That doesn't make any damn sense. Come on now. Oh my God. So do I think it's possible they failed them and it did happen? I don't know. That's why I'm saying I can't go on anything because everything is a rumor. Bring a receipt. We got Dudley now saying Don was feeling some type of way, acting funny the day before the girl went missing. He's told him about CPS coming and him hiding out. Okay, cool. But that still doesn't explain. That's no different than somebody allegedly bringing receipts before about CPS being involved. Why would you then still leave the children with them? You all can't explain that.
And all alone up there at the house, all three boys, and Summer went
Makes no sense.
That day.
Don said he wanted them to take the boys for their safety. Well, who is Don?
Unless they're talking about Donald Duck, but
no. Somebody's gonna have to bring me a receipt for me to form a logical opinion that makes some sense pertaining to this, because you can't explain them leaving those kids there. Like I said, in the Cal City situation, they took all four. So that means they found something on that day when they went to investigate the two boys missing. Now, fast forward, Summer Wells, you go to the property. It's in disarray, inside and out. And yet you still leave three boys there. Why? Why would you leave those boys there? Okay? Because you see how they're living there. But as somebody said, they don't necessarily take children because of a house being dirty, as a social worker said to me a month ago. Yeah, exactly. Verbal receipts, it's not good enough. Anybody can say, oh, somebody uploaded a piece of paper to somebody's channel, and oh yeah, I'm going to risk getting fired to release documents from the state office about Donald Wells and Candy and their children. That makes sense too.
Yeah, like Daffy Duck blowing up Donald Duck.
You don't make enough money as a social worker, so you're going to risk getting fired to send a YouTuber documents about CPS visits. Okay. All right. Oh, Lord Jesus. I just, yeah, distraction. That's all.
It's a big distraction.
Thank you, Rabbit. Yeah, it's all a bit distraction, and I'm tired of all of it. The whole situation is disgusting. Yes, it is. This case is disgusting. The parents are disgusting. And I'm just the type of person, it's not to throw shade at anybody else in the storyline, but I have seen from experience before Summer Wells that side pieces will immerse themselves in the case to get them 5 minutes of fame. And I don't care for it. I just don't. And I'm not saying that some of the things that they're saying is truth or not truth, but it becomes a circus when outside people start coming in repeating what they seen, what they saw, blah, 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 blah. And it gets all out of control to where you got this mess that's going on right now with YouTube. It is just disgusting. Everybody fighting for a story when one, don't nobody know the Wells. You don't know Summer. You don't know the Wells. You don't know the church. You don't know none of these people. You don't know nothing about them. You don't know what they're doing behind closed doors. You're not friends with them. But yet, you let somebody call you, inbox you, send your email, and you run out of breath trying to bring the 411, and in the end, that shit backfires. Because I've seen it in this case, I've seen it in other cases.
I've seen it in several other cases.
And in a few months, nobody gives a damn about those people that jumped up and ran to YouTube. Because you know what happens? Those people that was running the YouTube with the 411, they start becoming the talk of the town with their drama. I'm trying to tell you. Beware the messenger. Beware the messenger. But Dudley, I do believe he's telling the truth about what happened. Let me make that clear in this live. Yes, Heather, they must want to be summoned to court in the end. Exactly. And that's why, as Duty Ron said, you might want to be quiet.
Yep.
Because all this stuff has got to jive in the end if there happens to be an indictment and court proceedings. And that's what none of you are focusing on, the end result of all this YouTube shuffling around. The end result. You don't want anything that's going to cause those two to get off if indeed they're involved in getting this child gone. Grandis too, count her too, or any other outside parties.
The point I'm going to lay out, and every time that Don had any contact or any phone calls with these YouTubers to be out on live video, they just insert them in on this case, and now they could be called into court when this goes all down because they had information tags and Candace as well.
Yes.
So,
yes. And let me say this, too, for those who think they know so much. You all think the same people talking now to YouTube will be the same people that'll go in front of a court? Hey, you better wake up. I bet you ain't thought about that. Oh, I believe what he said. I believe what she said. Oh, she's got the documents. Oh, they heard the scream. Oh, he owed me $1,500. Well, will these same people go to court when the subpoena comes? Ding! Lies or not, truth or not, you all are not thinking about the end result. Will these same people go to court? And will the people who we ain't heard from that have given tips to the TBI also keep their word and follow through to the end and testify to whatever they know about the disappearance of Summer Wells? So y'all ain't thinking about none of that. You're just listening to all this bullshit because we're on YouTube and you're running in these chats and running up on these panels and he said and she said, but you're not thinking about the end result. Who is going to sit before 12 members and tell the truth under oath? Yeah.
But like I said, I mean, a lot of people inserted themselves. Now they can be called in now.
What it is, they will have to. No, they don't. No, they don't.
Not really, but
no, they do not have to tell the truth. No, they do not have to testify. There's nothing in the book of law that says you have to testify. There's nothing in the book that says you can't recant your story. People do it every day.
True.
That's not what I meant. I take it back. I was coerced. I did this. No, you do not have to go to court because you went and told the FBI, TBI, Sheriff's Department, anything. You can change your mind if you want to. People do it every day.
Yeah, but it depends on how much information Don gave out, though, about this case.
Lord have mercy. What a mess. What a fine, fine mess. Oh, Jesus. I just... When will it end? When will it end? Thank you, Reese. Lord Jesus. I don't know what to say. Well, we went over CPS. You said you do believe that they were involved, right?
I would have, say so now. I mean, it is strong, getting stronger.
Okay, so you do believe that Don owed this man money?
That is true, yes.
Okay, you do believe he ran them around on goose chases for the job, all of that?
Yeah.
And do you also believe the children were nasty and dirty and half naked when they came on the property, he and his wife?
I will go 50-50, but I believe, yes, it's possible.
Okay, but why would he lie if you're 50-50?
Well, I mean, with some of the stuff that, what they did on Summer and Locker Run and all that, I mean, yeah, it is very possible.
What the church is doing, Lance? Well, I've already discussed that earlier. The church ain't doing nothing because that's the point of what I just said a little while ago. Where are the good church people? Why aren't they speaking publicly on the behalf of these two? Only Robin is the face of the church. No preacher, no other church members. Why is that?
The church stayed silent. I mean, don't know why or anything.
Nate says she believed the children were half naked. Chris says apparently the church is done and Candace is back on all fronts. Why you say that, Chris? You don't know that. We don't know that. We don't know that that most of the church or half of the church is in favor of Don and Candy Wells because nobody's talking except for Robin. She's the only one showing her face in support of the Wells. I think if I believe my church members, don't you think I'd be out here visibly showing support? Don't you think I'd be talking to the news? Stay woke. And I'm going to announce something else to the chat that I've mentioned time and time again pertaining to this story. Besides the church not being visibly speaking for whatever reason, because everybody has a reason for what they do and do not do. Where are the people that's local? Since some people want to go to Hollerville to show their support for Summer and get the case out there, as I said in the chat, there are people in the state of Tennessee that don't even know that Summer is missing. Just because somebody knows about it in Jonesboro, Greenville, Johnson City, Kingsport, that's not Knoxville, that's not Chattanooga, that ain't Memphis, that ain't Clarksville, Tennessee. You see where I'm going? There's people in Tennessee that don't even know Summer is missing. That's point number 1. 2, some don't care, like I said. 3, where are the townspeople? Why do you need people coming from La La Land to go talk to the sheriff, to go talk to neighbors? As I said, putting yourself in a case that don't concern you. Yeah, I'm going to say that. And then say, oh, I'm getting the word out about Summer. Well, where are the local people? Don't you find that strange? The local people weren't out there making a ruckus about Summer Wells. The local people weren't hanging out by the Wells house asking, where are they? Where's the child? Why aren't you helping search? Why are you on social media showing out, making a fool out of yourself? Church people ain't coming out saying, hey, this isn't a proper way to behave. You're shaming the church. Stay woke. There's something odd about the townspeople not coming out. Why in the 6 months, some random people who have involve themselves with the Petito case and whoever else case is going on in America, all of a sudden want to come to Tennessee to say, well, I'm showing support for Summer Wells. Well, where the hell are the people that's local? Are you there?
Yeah. Yes, I am.
Listen, Gail says, I'm from Tennessee and my family has no idea who I'm talking about. Thank you.
Well, and a lot of people, I mean,
I've talked to numerous of people don't even know Summer Wells' name. Now, I ain't got no lot to tell you.
yeah, even a lot of people turn their Amber Alerts off and they get tired of that going off and all that and how it goes. And they go in their settings and turn it completely off, and they don't know anything goes on. And if they don't look at the news, they don't know what's going on.
Exactly, Heather. The town people aren't rallying to the sheriff, TBI. So why are outsiders wanting to come? I'm just keeping it real. You all aren't really paying attention to the obvious stuff. You all pick and choose what to focus on. I focus on everything. Those people in the holler, Kingsport, Tri-Cities, you do not see or hear them raising a fuss about Summer Wells. Why? Why not? Why not? Why would it take 6 months for some outside people to decide to go on YouTube and jump on people's panels and talk about Summer and then get on airplanes to fly down here to talk about the little girl when the people in the damn town weren't rallying? TBI, the state's office, stay woke. Come on now. It don't matter about the people not liking the Wells. You're not listening to nothing I'm saying. See, it's like I'm talking to myself. Well, if you don't like the Wells, then you should have no problem
Avoiding them.
Rallying for Summer Wells then. Makes no sense. Makes no sense. You know why you don't have an answer? Because maybe people don't care for the storyline pertaining to Summer as you all think they do. How about that? I just told you there are people in Tennessee that do not know the girl is missing. And you've had nobody up there rallying outside the Wells house saying, where is Summer? Like in the Petito case of a 22-year-old.
And most of them already probably know that their storyline was BS and they don't want to get involved.
Thank you. Ding, ding, ding. Bingo card 1025. They either don't care or they don't want to be invested in this storyline. This is what I keep trying to tell you all. People pick and choose what they want to rally for, what they want to stand up for. You don't find it odd? Ain't nobody been back in that holler doing anything to Don and Candy Wells. All that bullshit about, oh, they coming here, they riding by, they doing this. Well, they ain't done nothing to you. You still walking around running your mouth. So you obviously okay. So where's the imminent threat and danger? Who the hell really rolled up there and caused imminent threat and danger to the Wells family before the kids were removed? I'll wait.
Actually, you did leave a good point there. I mean, look like what life has done out there. I mean, they rally for Black Lives Matter or White Lives Matter and all that. And
exactly. That's my point.
For the kids and all that. Nothing.
That's my point. That's what I'm saying. Don't you find it strange? Yes, Jackie, their actions show the truth. Exactly. That maybe all this stuff everybody hooping and hollering about with Summer Wells, that those people in that area really aren't invested in caring about the child. And I'm not speaking for everybody, but I'm just showing you. You see how people rallied for Gabby Petito, a 20-something-year-old young lady. You had people rallying from two different parts of the East Coast for a 22-year-old grown woman. Where was the fight for a 5-year-old? Same race, just a different age. You can't tell me you don't find that strange. Come on now. What was the difference between Gabby Petito and this 5-year-old child? They're both white. What's the problem?
Yeah, Yeah, and when they go and rally, and they say all lives matter, that means all age matter. So why aren't they protecting that? They're not. They just give up. They just rallying on something that they don't really have the facts back.
I just think this is old time backwoods ways. And I'm not saying everybody's the same, but that's just strange that there are many towns surrounding Rogersville. There should be more pool for the child, in favor of the child. There should have been more people gathering at the vigils for the child. And there should have been a lot of people demanding answers from the Wells when they realized something wasn't right with the disappearance of Summer Wells. That's all I'm saying. Well, Justice, you can be for the heels on the ground. I'm not saying I'm in agreement with everybody that's on the ground, any ground. Because there's some things I'm seeing that I don't really care for people on the ground. And that's not just in Summer Wells' case.
Especially the
If I don't think your spirit is genuine, I'm not for nobody being on the ground. That's just who I am. And I don't have to talk about it every day. Sometimes being quiet says a lot.
In this case, I think being quiet and leave it alone will say a lot at the end when it comes out.
Well, so what's going to be the fallout now that Dudley's opened his mouth and told on Donald? You think it's going to get worse?
It's going to get a lot worse than it already is.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of...
Sweetie Pie was trying to be positive, but Sweetie Pie had to know better that once you release that man talking, that's all she wrote.
There's going to be a lot of backlash that's going to be coming out.
Yeah, because now Donald's going to respond to what Dudley Ray had to say, and then he's going to have to now explain the missing money, leading the boy on chases for the job, talking bad about the man, his children running around half naked, the CPS coming, looking at the phone like somebody had died the day before. You now going to have to rebut all of that. He ain't going to have it in him. He going to try, but it ain't going to work. I can tell you that. Because Don,
he's going to try to find more out on this one.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to explain all of that logically. Yeah, it's a whole lot of snakes. Reese says the town doesn't think she's missing and they don't want to be involved. Well, there's still other towns besides Rogersville, Reese. I'm talking about the general area.
Between Rogersville and Hawkinsville.
Yeah, I'm just talking about the general area. All the places. Kingsport, Greenville. It's a whole lot of other places besides Rogersville. I just find it strange. Wasn't a lot of people at the vigils for a missing child? And there weren't a lot of people rallying to get answers from her parents. This is strange to me. Hello, Julie. How you doing? Just a funny face that he will fire back. Oh, he gonna fire back. But when you fire back, what you gonna bring when you fire back? Because you ain't gonna be able to downplay all of what Dudley has had to say.
Because right now, Donald's going to have to cover his butt. He's going to have to get all the paperwork, the time cards, and everything else to prove.
Oh, yeah.
He has to done and everything to cover his trail.
And that's the interesting part. And that's the interesting part of the story. Why haven't you heard from Mr. Tucker about the day of the 15th? Who worked with Don? What time he left? How does he know when he comes in and leave? How does he check and verify the work that Don and his workers have done? Bingo card, 1,030. I'm jumping by fives. Don't pay me no mind. You see where I'm going? How do you verify the work that Don has done? How do you verify the work that the workers have done? Do they actually come in and clock in on a real-time clock? Or do he just call and say, I'm here? If that's the case, Don could have been in Virginia, North Carolina, any damn where, Kentucky on June 15th. Lord, and she said, smoking an 8-ball, I'm dead. Oh my God. Jesus. Pigs eat anything, even bones. Damn, Kimmy. Wow, that's y'all showing out.
Get up on something.
Okay, Julie. Yeah, it's just a lot. Don't this is probably bingo card worthy versus the stuff that H and Allie brought out. Whether you believe it or not. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because you don't know what a person's going to say when they decide to go talk, whether it's to the news, law enforcement, social media, whomever. But this is sad. You jipping people their money. You playing mind games on the job. You lying on the man. You fired the man. Didn't pay the man his money. Then we're talking about CPS coming to your house. You avoiding CPS and then looking crazy the day before the little girl go missing. You ain't going to be able to come back with nothing on none of that. He going to try, but I'm telling you, he will fail. Mm-hmm.
Actually, she did. All you got to do is rewind it and go over the video. She did play the interview.
Say what?
Of Dudley. Lance is trying to wondering if you played the interview and all that.
You can go to Sweetie Pie's channel. She has it uploaded to her channel. That's the courtesy of the content. It's by Sweetie Pie Loaf. Lord Jesus. It's no rhyme or reason. So I was making sure we touched on everything before I check out of here. So you believe CPS involved. You believe most of what Dudley's had to say about his interaction with Donald and the job to some degree.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe he tried to cheat his way through something and scam people.
About the mud. All right, Nate say y'all stop that talk.
That is a contractor. I would never use drywall mud that's been left out in the
Angel believes him too. So why were the children removed, and what was the allegation for them to be investigating them? That's the main question that we believe Dudley now. What was the reason for CPS to be coming out to their house whenever, and why were the children removed 6 weeks later after Summer went missing? Tiny, I don't understand your question, honey. Nate says Don is going down for show now. You know, everyone wouldn't be on YouTube if the police were a little more aggressive. Well, Chris, I don't know about that. I can't speak on that, but I do know that in the end, this running to YouTube may backfire.
It may.
Martha says they are closing in on Mr. Don. Yeah, I hope so. What it is says abuse, neglect. Yeah, but if it was abuse and neglect that was going on, why you still let the children stay there? That makes no sense to let them stay there.
It all depends on what the boys gave him on the interview.
That's why I always had a problem with that allegation that CPS was involved, because I said, well, explain why I'm going to be investigating you, but I'm going to leave 3 other children in your care. You don't leave children in the care of somebody you're investigating for whatever reason, and one is missing. That makes no sense.
That is true, and it all depends on what the boys revealed.
Yeah, and that's another one. That's another hot, boiling topic. What have they said? They're going to say what they know. What have they told law officials pertaining to their upbringing in June 15th? Yes, I think they should be arrested for abuse and neglect. Sweet peas. I totally agree. Thank you, Rose, for the super chat. Yes, they were failed. Somebody said if they were reported, but CPS didn't follow through, no Summers missing. Well, it's obvious they didn't follow through, because you can't explain logically investigating someone beforehand, then a child goes missing on a time frame where you're supposed to visit, and you still allow 3 children to stay in the Wells custody. Make that make sense. That's all I'm asking. Make it make sense. That's why I got tired of hearing it, because I said, well, explain why they left the children in their care. It doesn't matter why I'm coming to you. If I'm coming for the boys, I'm coming for Summer. They're all connected. Why in hell am I going to leave children in your care if I'm investigating you and your child is now missing? Come on now. Yes, the children, that one, I ain't really paying attention to all the pictures of the boys because I always kept seeing more pictures of the Summer uploaded. But she looked malnourished. She looks also tall for her age, and I think she's probably taken up from Mr. Wells' stature because he's a tall man. I always thought she looked big for 5, but she was thin. Now, is that her clinical makeup? I don't know. I can't say Candy was starving her or not, but that boy in the interview with Don is chunky. He's solid. You understand? But it's not to say that children can't be different in their build, because all children do not come out the same by the same mother and father. Yes, they should have taken the children ASAP when she was reported missing. Amen. I agree. Yes. Okay. It don't make sense, but it happened. Yes, it did. And that's the whole point of why I said bring me a receipt before I go I just don't put my stamp on anything that's been said. I don't work like that. Don did the sweet talk. Of what? Oh, hey, my kid missing, but leave my other 3. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how that would work. When Dudley said Don was at work till late because of CPS visit, wonder if he was trying to avoid them. Well, Angel, I think we know that he was, baby. That'd be the only reason. The only reason.
Like I said, I think there's more to this.
Such as what? Before I clock out of here, what?
Well, I mean, I've been digging into some things on Allie's side and some information on Grandis' side and all that. I mean, it has gotten deeper than I think.
Well, are you going to ever elaborate? Because I'm getting old. I'll be 51 in about 20-something days. So I don't really have that kind of time to figure out what the hell you talking about, trucker.
Well, like I said, I'm still digging. I mean,
I will bring it. Are you actually talking to somebody that know Grandis and Candace?
No.
So then what is it that you're digging?
That some facts about the carnival side, the biker side, and all that. I mean, yeah, like I said, I mean, it has gotten deep.
Somebody asked, is possible Rose Blythe's disappearance is also being solved, and finding Summer Rose is also found? I don't know, Wendy. I can't tell you nothing about Rose. It's still an open case. That's all I can tell you from my understanding. When I last brought information months ago, it's still an open investigation into her disappearance.
Yeah, Rose Bly and Summers is still open.
Is there any pigs by the Wells home? Why are you asking that, Kimmy? Oh, Lord Jesus.
I was thinking, pigs can eat humans.
Okay, but y'all, are we getting ready to do some Hannibal Lecter up here? Please, y'all, please stop. I don't want to think about nothing pertaining to how Summer Wells left here if indeed she is no longer living. Because I told myself that, I believe it was yesterday I was thinking about this case, and I said, just the thought of anybody hurting her or any child is unfathomable. You understand what I'm saying? And that's the one thing I don't want to do is discuss how Summer left here. Because many of you have put in the chat, I've seen in other people's channels, you talk about how you think she died. I don't like that kind of talk because you can use your own imagination. You understand what I'm saying? But I don't do that. I'm not getting ready to sit up here and then try to project what I think happened to her if indeed she was murdered. I can't go down that road. I can't go down that road.
I can't go down that road yet. It's shown.
I'm not going to ever go down that road. Tracy, very good question. Why did Dudley wait so long to speak up for Summer? Well, I don't think it was a matter of him speaking up for Summer. I think he was speaking up for himself because he's got accusations of being a suspect. He got to clear his name before he can defend Summer.
Yeah, and good point. What Don and Tucker Drywall done, they left a bad reputation, and every time he goes and tries to find another job, they're going to leave a bad reputation on his tech report or whatever, and hurt him all the way up to 6 months to a year until he's cleared.
Okay. Heather says Don supposedly said to interviewers, "If you go against me, I'll discredit you everywhere." Maybe he has a reputation. Who has a reputation? Oh, you mean Don has a good reputation? He may. And that's why I said, what's the deal with Tucker? Because if Tucker didn't believe Dudley, then that means Tucker has favored Don Wells. And we have seen Don Wells on the YouTube side that he's not credible as a human being. He lies, he manipulates, he throws people under the bus. One minute he's talking about Jesus and forgiveness. The next minute he cusses out people, calling them, the N word, the F word. So that is not Christian-like. It's not good and favorable. Now, it's not to say that we all can't have a potty mouth and talk crazy, but your child is missing. You ought to have enough sense to sit up and have some dignity about yourself because your child is missing. So all that cussing and name calling is not favorable when people are looking at you as the parents of a missing child. You should think first before speaking. I'm not getting ready to trust nobody that's getting up here calling people homosexual slurs and racist slurs. Because what I say to myself is, you probably doing a whole lot more than just name calling. You understand what I'm saying? You got a whole lot of stuff going on. Hello, Rob. How you doing, baby? You're just nasty. Well, Lord, what is mama talking about? Somebody mama. See, here y'all go. And in the end, I don't care about that either. Who's related to whom? I don't care about none of that verified stuff. I just don't care about none of that kind of stuff about who related to whom. Because in the end, even if they are related, blood related, the FBI and TBI are involved. And if they think for any instance that there's some improprieties going on, they're watching all of that. They're watching all of that. Somebody says, Outlaw, share what you've discovered. Yeah, I want him to share too. Thank you. He says, I will when I have the facts. Oh, Lord. Well, how you doing, honey? Welcome. Well, I ain't got that kind of time Trucker got. Trucker want to be holding out what he done learned and discovered pertaining to the Summer Wells case. Queen will be 51 at the end of the month. I'm trying to hold on to my sanity. Shut your mouth.
Like I said,
I'm trying to hold on.
The information behind it is deeper than a lot of people think.
Such as what? Such as what, Trucker?
How many people are actually involved in
So
this?
what are you trying to say? This is an underground ring, sir? Just give a hint. Is it an underground ring? Is that what you're trying to say?
It kind of underground ring. You might as well say it's a drug ring involvement.
Okay, so you believe this is drug related? These are people who sell drugs that also traffic children.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I don't know. All I know is, in the end, hello, are you listening? It's still gonna be about Don and Candy and possibly Grandis. Because will these walkie-talkies give up the henchmen and the others involved? Okay, Mulan, you can't see me. So cut it out. Okay, marvelous, darling. So funny. I wonder what Tucker sells to Don other than drywall. Bingo card, 1,035. Thank you. That's the point we've been trying to make in this live. It's that I don't know Mr. Tucker, but the fact that he favors Don Wells, even after the fact of his behavior, leads me to wonder what type of person is Mr. Tucker. And what else is going on with Mr. Tucker and Mr. Don, since we now know that Don is a convicted felon. He has an extreme criminal record. He is still involved in felonious activity. And the fact that he can go throw away some money allegedly on a trip to Knoxville, but won't even keep his house up to par, won't keep his kids clean, bed sheets, furniture, walls up in his house, staircase to lead to the house, junk on the property. Stay woke.
John Courtney almost hit it on the nose.
Stay woke.
How much money do they actually owe to a lot of people out there, tooth dealers and all that?
Okay. Look at Nate say to my Tucker has been to the mountaintop. He possibly has. Who's to say Tucker he don't get high? Who's to say Tucker he ain't facilitating drugs, selling drugs, orchestrating drugs? I don't know. Is he a crackhead, meth head? I don't know. I don't know the man. But people are going to question that now that Dudley's come forward to say he wouldn't believe anything he had to say about Don and how he was treating him.
That's what we always see in this case on Don, Candace, and Grandis. Follow the money trail, and you will see it.
Yeah, because what is so special about Don for you to believe everything about him and not this guy here? You taking his word for it that, oh, he's a misfit, he gets high, he's messing up the work, blah, blah, blah. So you've been taking Don at his word. But if we are to believe that Don has been doing this type of behavior all his life, lying and manipulating, how is it at some point, Mr. Tucker, you don't see the signs of us new to the case have seen about Donald Wells? Like I said, Don has shown the public who he is and what his character is. So even if you have faith in Donald Wells, Mr. Tucker, by now you should have seen that he's a liar, he's a manipulator, he has a filthy mouth, he's vulgar, he's a woman beater, abusive, allegations of child abuse, neglect, allegations of child essay, admittance from him, messing with the sisters. You still kept him as a worker. And that's the end of this conversation. Thank you, Gypsy. Mama says, does a leopard change his spots?
Nope.
Well,
it does change. It does change when they grow, but they
only if he goes into the tanning bed or he goes to a plastic surgeon. If you change the T in Tucker to an F, that's probably what he is. Well, maybe so, baby. Whoever's involved with Don is dodgy. Very good point, Miss Glam. And that's the point. That all this Christian talk, we try to surround ourselves with good Christian people, In the end, do we really trust all the people that have come forward to give commentary pertaining to the Wells? Are all these people on the up and up? Do these other people have skeletons in their closets? Naturally they do, because we're all human. But what is the truth? Information brought by Allie, Boyd H, Jenna, Jody Sue, Robin, Mr. Dotson. Who else am I leaving out? And now Mr. Dudley Wright and Miss Linda. What is the truth? Yes, he wanted to sell one of his boys. Yes. Yes. What is it? What is it in for him? Exactly. So that's the thing. We don't know Mr. Tucker. We do know of Donald Wells, and what we know of him is not great. And at some point, this is what I keep saying about people. At some point, the church knows about Donald Wells and Candy's ways. Robin knows about their ways. Mr. Tucker knows about their ways. Jenna knows of their ways. Jody Sue knows of their ways. So how far are we going to go in this pot of pretending these people are great people when you know damn well they're not? So that leads us to believe that perhaps you are of the same caliber and cut from the same cloth. And it's not to throw shade. It's just calling a spade a spade. You know, I can't call a horse a turtle because he ain't a turtle. And I can't call a turtle a bear because he ain't a bear. See where I'm going? You know, it is what it is. And I think what's happened with the Wells is what happens with many people. They have been afforded the opportunity to be misfits, to be menaces. And people have just slapped them on the wrist and or turned a blind eye. So then they go on and they find somebody else to use and manipulate. People do it every day. This is why a lot of people go unapprehended by the law. Because people, one, don't tell the truth. People don't tell. Hey, he did this to me. She did this to me. They robbed me. They stole. They did this. They raped me, assaulted me. Bottom line.
Bingo, there's another bingo card coming at you. What kind of shady practice businesses between Don and Tucker? Have they overcharged their people or and all that? I mean, it's on the table now. It's starting to come to light.
Okie Mama, come on now with all that. Come on now.
You're better than that, Okie Mama.
Yeah, you need to stop that. Come on now. That's just a lonely person who's immersed herself in the cases pertaining to missing children. Don't put that room out there. And then you put it in my chat. I don't like that. Even though I don't care for that person, but don't do that. And what's up with grandma? And I'm out of here. What does grandmother know? Grandis, why is she back? Why is it a secret? There's a rumor that police made her come back. My thing is, did they tell her she could leave or not? That's question number one. Did Grandis get permission by law enforcement to leave the state of Tennessee?
That we don't have no facts on.
Right. Well, I'm just throwing it out there as a question.
I know.
Oh, Lord have mercy, Jesus. Oh, yeah. And how can she even stay up there on the compound knowing all this happened? But like I said, when I listened to Dudley talk about them fighting, she was a right fighter for her daughter all along that messed with Jose on the compound a year or so. She's always been there to uphold her daughter in her wrongdoings and her poor choices of men. She's been there, whether it's in and out, or all the way through. She's been a part of her mess. And the fact that she was right there when the woman had a man on the property while her husband was gone, Grandis was right there drinking and sucking up the BS. Now, fast forward, a child's missing. You right there. Then you take off, you come back. Then we hear now, 6 months in, you go into the property, to the work sites, fighting with this, your daughter and him fighting. Why would you even go along for that? Why would you even put yourself in the midst of that type of behavior? But that goes to show you stayed at that camper on the site of the shit going down on the compound. So it ain't no difference than riding along, I guess, in the car and jumping out gangster style. You know, some people lay in the cut with foolishness. But now I believe we're getting the idea that Granny, she all in. Because she like a man herself. So she fighting and fussing on the compound. She fussing and fighting to the job site. Somebody says it sounds like many people got a cut, benefited from something in drugs and money, and cheeks been turned. SAD. Lord have mercy. Say, oh, and I can't. Oh my God. Ooh, you said if your granny go missing. Well, you probably got the kind of grandmama you care about to tell people she went missing. I don't know about this grandma. Grandis, what do you know about the disappearance of Summer Wells? Why have you stayed on the property with all the shenanigans going on between Don and Candy and those kids? Child neglect, the state of the property. That means you nasty and foul as well. You sat there and watched them abuse the children. Candy allowing her husband to beat her and beat her kids. So that means Candy, she's stupid too. She don't give a damn about herself or her kids. And the state should have been took the kids away a long time ago. And you've been riding the ride. So that leads us back to where we were before Dudley ever spoke. Did you know something? Because now you said that you a ride or die sidekick. You like to get down. So did you get down on June 15th pertaining to the disappearance of Summer? Probably so. They ring all y'all asses in. I'm sick of talking about y'all. I'm getting ready to go watch the Potomac Housewives. I had enough of this. I want to thank y'all for joining me. Thank you, Trucker.
You're welcome. You have a good night, man.
Okay, you too, baby. Have a good week. Be careful.
You too, always.
Okay. Happy New Year.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. That's Outlaw Trucker. I want to thank you all for joining me. Thank you for the support, new subscribers. I'm almost at 11,000 subs. God bless you. Thank you, AB, and those who share the content on social media, Facebook. One thing everybody needs to understand is that this is a dirty game. This story is like a lot of stories that deal with street people. Wherever you have street people, you have mischief. You have gossip. You have he said, she said. You have drugs. You have alcohol. You have prostitution. You have thievery. You have lying, manipulation, connery. It's all the same. Because they're street people. And wherever there's street people, there are problems. I don't give a damn where it is. There will always be mischief with street people. And these are street people. So this story is just like Camille McKinney down in Alabama when she went missing, was later found in a dumpster in a landfill. The disappearance of two little black boys out of Cal City, a bunch of YouTube shenanigans and people fighting on the ground and talking crazy and turning on each other. It's all the same. Now it's Summer, Rogersville, same thing. He said, she said, backstabbing, backbiting. Who want to be first? Who want to be on third? It's my story. No, it's my story. It ain't nobody's story. How you doing, Flouncey? It ain't nobody's story. There's a little girl missing. And that's the bottom line. Her parents never cared for her. And that's the bottom line. And some of you've lost your way in talking about the story, covering it. Some people don't agree with what we do, talking about the parents, talking about these people. Well, I tell you what. It is what it is. I don't know no more than what's afforded to me. I don't go look for people. I don't go hunt them down. The day your story makes the news, it is my prerogative to talk about what I want to talk about on this channel and say what I want, either on this channel or another social media platform. So long as I'm not threatening anybody, it is my free will to speak as I see fit. But if some of you naysayers think nobody has a right to say anything about the story, then what you should do is hop on your airplane and go find these nimwits and say to them directly, hey, keep your personal business to yourself, stay off of social media, and just talk to law enforcement, and everything will go just smoothly for you. If you're innocent, then good. If you're not, better hire you a good attorney. Because you see, every case that I've talked about on my channel pertaining to a missing child, dead child, all the gossip started with the parents and the people who swear they saw something, heard something. Are you following? Okay. That's how the gossip started. What the mother said, what the father said, what the cousin said, what Pookie Ray Ray said and saw on the night of the crime. That's where the problem started. Mangy ass parents and ghetto fabulous people want 5 minutes of fame. And then here comes the social media platforms, jump in on the bandwagon and follow suit. And there's your mischief and mayhem. Thank you for joining me. If you want to donate to the channel, $BeganG129 Cash App. All super chats are welcome during the live. Thank you all so much. This is a very long-winded live. Sorry for it being so long. But we're going to pray that the truth is revealed about Summer, where she can be located. Prayers for her brothers who are in foster care. Pray that they have a safe passage in life and that they do not walk in the footsteps of their parents. As it was said on Sweetie Pie's channel to Dudley Ray, there's hope for the boys. Although they are in foster care, there is hope for them. Thank you, 2521. There is hope, and we've got to hope. We got to have hope. We got to pray. The boys get good direction, and they become good law-abiding citizens. They go to school to get education, to get a trade. They have something decent about themselves to carry out to the world. Tiny's talking about the parents are willing to give the kids up, and why would CPS take them to court to get the children? Well, they wouldn't take them to court to get the children. See, that's the whole point. You don't know what's the truth or not pertaining to this story, see? And that's another thing. The only version you're getting about CPS and these children is the version from the parents. And at this point, there's no way you can believe anything that comes out of the mouth of Don and Candy. Because in the end, these are the two who have been narrating the story pertaining to June 15th. So I'm going to ask you, why would you believe anything about the children or anything when you have seen that these people can lie at the drop of a dime? And if you lie about something mundane, you will lie about something important, such as the disappearance of your child. Thank you for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. God bless you. Have a prosperous week and Happy New Year to all of you. Amen.